consequently, they really don't know who is going to win this particular fight, and we're just going to have to wait and see when indeed the combatants step into the ring. Believe me, it is going to be truly a fantastic evening of super fighting in the Circle of Truth. You owe it to yourself, if you enjoy this sort of combat sport, to buy it tonight. Right now, however, Craig's standing by with a very special guest. Craig, it's all yours.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. And when we come back, you think this is an easy job? Well, we'll find out. We'll talk with the ring ladies and have more on tonight's card. Kim Holliday and much more coming up live from Birmingham, Alabama. Call your local cable operator for the show. Back in a moment.
Military Sambo. Born in the barren outlands of Russia, it was the martial art used by the dreaded KGB. It strikes terror in the hearts of those who challenge it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, spawned on the crowded and mean streets of Rio, a style of fighting passed down from generation to generation. More than self-defense, this is about survival. Oleg Taktarov, Russian, military Sambo grand champion, never defeated by pen or submission. Renzo Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, never defeated by pen or submission. On November 22nd, these two warriors will enter the Circle of Truth. Only one will walk away undefeated. Gracie versus Taktarov, Jiu-Jitsu versus Sambo, Brazil versus Russia. Call your cable company and order reality super fighting in the Circle of Truth. With 3 super fights, 1 8-man tournament, 8 different disciplines. Friday, November 22nd, 8 p.m. Only on pay-per-view.
Back near the Circle of Truth. Minutes away from the start of tonight's card. Still time, of course, call your local cable operator. Get in on it now. Pay-per-view only, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Kim Holliday from Birmingham. Very smart to get in on this. She'll be one of the ring ladies tonight. I know your city is very excited about hosting this event tonight.
Well, Craig, we really are. Birmingham is, we're growing, and we're a very clean, nice city. We're very excited about the event. We're ready to get fired up about it, and we're interested to see some good fights.
And who said beauty wasn't a part of this card tonight?
I appreciate that. You're very sweet.
All right,
I
Kim,
appreciate it.
a well-known model. You may have seen her in a recent magazine. Her career is booming. So good luck to you, Kim, and thanks for joining us tonight. And surrounded by a couple of other beauties, our very own Jim Brinson. You got a tough gig tonight, Jim.
Hey, this is one of the best parts of doing this particular job. I mean, there's a guy on television, I think his name is Mr. Rogers. This ain't Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, believe me. Hello, ladies. And maybe get your name. Of course, they are part of the ring ladies tonight.
Hi, I'm Angie. I'm Deborah.
Thank you very much, ladies. It just goes to show you, yes, this is combat skills and techniques and can be very violent, but it is also a thing of beauty. You said something you needed to take a deep breath because you were pretty nervous tonight?
No, it's because my dress is so tight.
Oh.
But thank you for mentioning that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood. They are a little nervous getting ready for tonight's particular combat matchup. Once again, great fights and great beauty, of course, with the ladies. It'll be our pleasure to bring it to you on pay-per-view. But right now, let's don't waste any more time because Craig is standing by once again. Craig, it's all yours.
All right, Jim, we were on hand earlier today when the two combatants for the main event made their way to the State Fair Arena. These guys certainly know how to play up things, not only in the ring as showmen and great athletes, but also on their way here. First-class operation all the way. The arrival of Renzo Gracie, the 28-year-old competitor from Brazil. He says it's an honor to live up to the family name, his family heroes, well known in this sport. In the world of martial arts, here's Renzo on the right. He's kind of a fun guy, as we said, and yesterday was joking that he really wanted to be a poet. And actually, behind the nice demeanor and joking style is one of the most ferocious men in the world. His determination, his skill in the circle you will see tonight, and certainly will put a major test to his opponent who has been challenged before, but who has never submitted. A third-degree black belt, the 95 World Combat Champion, Renzo Gracie in the stretch white limo, making his way here to the State Fair Arena earlier here tonight. As Renzo was on his way, his opponent also came in. Oleg Taktarov, his background as a Russian military pilot, did many secret maneuvers. It looked like he pulled off one leaving. What the heck is that limo? I've never rented one of those. Born in Siberia, 6th degree black belt in Sambo. He's 6 foot, goes about 220 pounds, 27 years of age. Oleg Taktarov, there he is, the Russian bear, who says we must not put the land of Russia to shame. His toughness is really unparalleled in this sport. The question tonight, can his style of unrivaled toughness, can his Sambo technique defeat the Gracie dynasty and return the mantle of fighting greatness back to his Russian homeland? We'll find out that answer tonight. Renzo Gracie, Oleg Taktarov, that's the main event, but much more before that. And right now, let's go back to our roving reporter, Julie Croteau. Julie?
Thanks, Craig. I'm in the arena now, and the fans are starting to pile in. I can actually feel the energy in the arena. Now, I understand you drove all the way from Atlanta. Must have been quite an incentive to come here.
Quite it was. It was probably a 3-hour drive, and we're real excited to be here.
Now, what is it that attracted you to this event? What is it that you're looking forward to seeing tonight?
Well, the excitement is electric, as you said, and the fighting is so realistic as opposed to boxing or wrestling. Everything goes, and it just makes everything so real.
Thank you both very much. Craig?
All right, you can see it too tonight. Very easy. Get to the phone and call your local cable operator. Do it now. The pay-per-view card starts in less than 12.5 minutes tonight, live from the Birmingham State Fair Arena. We'll be back with the countdown in just a moment.
Military Sambo. Born in the barren outlands of Russia, it was the martial art used by the dreaded KGB. It strikes terror in the hearts of those who challenge it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, spawned on the crowded and mean streets of Rio. A style of fighting passed down from generation to generation. More than self-defense, this is about survival. Oleg Taktarov, Russian, military Sambo grand champion, never defeated by pen or submission. Renzo Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, never defeated by pen or submission. On November 22nd, these two warriors will enter the circle of truth. Only one will walk away undefeated. Gracie versus Taktarov, Jiu-Jitsu versus Sambo, Brazil versus Russia. Call your cable company and order reality super fighting in the circle of truth. With 3 super fights, 1 8-man tournament, 8 different disciplines. Friday, November 22nd, 8 p.m. Only on pay-per-view.
Back live near the Circle of Truth. I'm Craig Benavini. Welcome again to the Countdown Show. You see it on your screen as we are about 10 minutes away now from the start of tonight's card. 10 bouts are on the card. We mentioned the main event to you. Renzo Gracie, Oleg Taktarov, the 8-man elimination, and 3 other super fights. It should be really something special, something you may never have seen before. Martial arts experts from all over the world putting their talents and test of soul right in that ring. We'll see what happens in just a few moments. For more on tonight's matches, back to our ringside announcers. Gentlemen, take it away.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Yes, you've already talked about other matches which we will see tonight, and there are 2 matches that we're going to discuss right at this particular time. We'll go to Ron first on this one for Barreto and Rafalski.
Well, what you're going to see is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu seminar. You're going to see the Brazilian fighter then take the person down, and that's what the Brazilian fighters do. Sambo is more stand-up, more punching, kicking, and grappling, but the grappling is limited in Sambo.
So you would say right now that the Sambo fighter has got to stay on his feet if he's going to have a chance against the Brazilian fighter.
That's true.
All right, now the other match, Dr. Allen, is a match which is going to be Sperry and Dudko.
Well, I think we'll probably see a replay of the initial fight, the Barreto fight. Sperry is an extremely accomplished Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stylist. He's a champion in his own country. Again, he'll want to take the Sambo fighter down to the ground immediately. That's where he's most effective. As Ron said, the Sambo fighter will want to stay on his feet. That's where he can do his most damage. He also has some experience in judo and boxing. But Sperry, with his knowledge, expect him to take him right down to the mat and go to work from there.
Gentlemen, let me then pose this particular question to both of you. Then is it much better to be a jiu-jitsu type of fighter entering the Circle of Truth as opposed to any other form? Ron, let's start from you.
In the Circle of Truth, you have to be cross-trained. You must have grappling experience. If you do not have grappling experience, you can't win in this type of event.
Alan?
Well, I think if you had to pick one style, I would pick Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that's my own prejudice and bias. But the Brazilians have shown themselves over the past 65 years to be masters of no-holds-barred fighting. And what they're capable of doing in that format is something that really is foreign to our country. They have a great deal of experience. They take the fighter down. They're extremely accomplished at what they do.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your insight. And once again, we are going to toss it back to our most gracious host, Let's go back to Craig right now.
Thank
Craig,
you,
it's all
James,
yours.
and you can see the time on the right. Your picture will be scrambled in 8 minutes and 30 seconds if you don't order it tonight on pay-per-view. Give your cable operator a call, and you will see tonight the reality super fights led off by the main event. And some great stories like Rafalski, the guys we're just talking about, a guy who was a Russian helicopter pilot, was shot down, was in a coma for a few days, escaped from the Afghanistans, and now he's in Miami Beach training, of all things, for reality super fights. Many of the fans are still arriving here at the State Arena. Some of them earlier today saw some of the action. We showed you a little bit before. Let's show you some more of what you will see tonight. These are some of the future stars in the world of reality super fights. They haven't reached the big level yet, but they're getting their opportunity to show their wares, and it's very impressive. Inside the 30-foot diameter, no rounds, no timeouts, no interruptions. The fighter wins by only tapping out, a submission, a knockout, or if the corner wants to throw in the towel, the ref or physician can also stop the fight. There are no judges. You've got to win it in the circle of truth. Let's take a look. The techniques range from all different styles, as Alan just talked about, and Ron of martial arts. And the guys who do the best are not only the ones who have their expertise in something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but the guys who have picked up maneuvers from the world of freestyle wrestling or judo or karate, or perhaps something even from the Russian Sambo. And it not only gives them an offensive technique, but also an ability to defend against the different styles. You'll see a lot tonight of different styles and different grappling and martial arts techniques. 6 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in our countdown show, and then we go to pay-per-view tonight, live here from Birmingham, Alabama.
Let's go. There you go. Work from there. Grab his wrist. Grab his wrist.
Reality super fights coming your way. Call your local cable operator right now for the pay-per-view card. We'll have more of the countdown in just a moment.
Military Sambo. Born in the barren outlands of Russia, it was the martial art used by the dreaded KGB. It strikes terror in the hearts of those who challenge it. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, spawned on the crowded and mean streets of Rio. A style of fighting passed down from generation to generation. More than self-defense, this is about survival. Oleg Taktarov, Russian, military Sambo grand champion, never defeated by pen or submission. Renzo Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, never defeated by pin or submission. On November 22nd, these two warriors will enter the circle of truth. Only one will walk away undefeated. Gracie versus Taktarov, Jiu-Jitsu versus Sambo, Brazil versus Russia. Call your cable company and order reality super fighting in the circle of truth. With 3 super fights, 1 8-man tournament, 8 different disciplines. Friday, November 22nd, 8 p.m. Only on pay-per-view.
We are back at the Alabama State Fair Arena. Behind me is the Circle of Truth, where the competitors will go in tonight. 10 bouts coming your way. The pay-per-view card starting in just a few moments. Call your local cable operator. Do it right now and get the big event, which is featured by the main event. Now, we talked about the various athletes coming from all over the world, from the Far East, from down in Brazil, from the USA, from Europe. Well, our card not only is an international flavor, but so does our broadcast team tonight. This broadcast also available in Spanish, and we were going to introduce you right now to our broadcasters who will call it in Spanish tonight. Mr. Mario Solis, Mr. Javier Diaz will call it. Let's go to those gentlemen now for some comments in both English and Spanish. Take it away, guys.
Gracias, Craig, así lo es. This is a truly international telecast. A lot of Spanish people, I'm sure, will want to follow the Brazilians when they face tonight against the Russians. So this is going to be a simulcast, and this is what it's going to sound like. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos. Les pedimos que hablen ahora a su compañía de cable para el pago por evento. Una competencia de artes marciales. Es reality super fighting o super peleas sin reglas. Todo tipo de golpes se permiten. Javier Díaz me acompaña esta noche. El experto en artes marciales, jiu-jitsu, karate, kung fu, todas las artes marciales envueltas esta noche.
Buenas noches, Mario. Bueno, listo para presenciar las super peleas. La característica de este evento va a ser que cada uno de los artistas marciales podrá utilizar cualquiera de sus técnicas buscando la victoria, y esa es la característica especial de este tipo de eventos.
Van a ser dos peleas en una, primeramente una eliminación entre 8 hombres a la muerte.
Y de ahí sacaremos un ganador que, bueno, próximamente estará dentro de las peleas más calificadas.
Y también, claro, la Tercera Guerra Mundial, Rusia frente a Brasil.
Ahí, bueno, tenemos dos estilos, el Gracie Jiu-Jitsu y el Sambo. Estilos similares, bueno, vamos a ver quién sale ganador.
Perfecto, así lo es. Llame ahora a su compañía de cable para el pay-per-view. Así que ahí lo tiene. Llame ahora. Craig, that's going to be it. Let's toss it back to the man. Craig Miñapisky. That's how you said it in Spanish, by the way.
And Mario, I think you said my tuxedo looks nice. Thank you. Yours looks great, too. We'll look forward to hearing the call in Spanish and English tonight. You know, I thought one man put it very well when he called the reality super fights not only a combination of skill of a boxer, but also the power and grace of karate, the concentration of an artist, and the perfect condition of not only the body, but the mind, too. It combines all that. Sometimes to the naked eye, to the layman, it looks very simple. It looks like you or I could do it. Believe me, we would not last very long inside the circle of truth. It is truly a test of the greatest martial arts experts in all the world. You'll see it tonight on pay-per-view in just a few moments. Standing by now near the dressing room area again, Julie Croteau, to give us a little bit of the scene as we approach the start of the fights. Julie, take it away.
Thanks, Craig. The tensions are definitely starting to rise back here. And I tell you, it's a wild environment. We have all different sorts of languages. The fighters are walking around trying to get themselves ready. Although I have noticed the Russians are going to one side and the Brazilians are starting to go to another. Now, the athletes are preparing themselves in one of two ways, either mentally or physically. The guys that are working on the mental approach are inside talking to their managers. The guys that are working on their physical approach are outside here in the warm-up area working with their sparring partners. This workout area is right next to the door, and it's a very short walk into the arena. Jim?
All right, Julie, thank you very much. Yes, in fact, one of the gentlemen that I'm standing here with right now, Ron Van Cleef, has made that walk into the squared circle, so to speak, on numerous occasions. What is it like? What goes through the fighter's mind as this moment arrives?
Well, I fought Hoist Gracie at the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and it was the most it was exciting. It was unbelievable. It was a birthday present for me. I was 52 the day after I fought.
And he still has all of his teeth, by the way, to prove it, as a matter of fact. Alan, real quick, your thoughts, being a ring physician and a person who has been involved, what is going through their mind?
Well, at this point, the fighters really aren't thinking about anything other than doing their absolute best in the ring. Concerns regarding health, that's the responsibility of the physician, not on their mind.
All right, let's go back to Craig right now.
Thank you, Jim. We are minutes away from the start of tonight's card. 10 bouts are coming at you. There's only one way to see it, folks. Call your local cable operator and do it right now. The big show is coming up. We'll be live from the State Fair Arena. Reality Super Fights coming your way next. We'll see you in a few moments with tonight's Reality Super Fighting from the State Fair Arena.
The eyes, windows to the human soul. Caught in their reflection are the eyes, the spirit that drives a man past the limitations of pain, past the inner voice that screams, submit, past every distraction that stands in the way of victory. Tonight, some of the greatest fighters in the world will clash in a test of will, power, and physical skill. This is no game. Welcome to the Circle of Truth.
This is Birmingham, Alabama, known as the Magic City, but tonight, illusions or tricks will not be the answer. You are looking at the Circle of Truth at the State Fair Arena. It is 30 feet around. There is no escape. That's the setting for an evening of reality super fighting. Oleg Taktarov in the dressing room, getting ready for the main event. In just a few hours on tonight's card as he takes on one of the greats in the sport in Renzo Gracie. Hello, everybody. A pleasure to be alongside here in Alabama. I'm Craig Benavini, along for our entire broadcast team. Welcome to Reality Super Fights, the Circle of Truth tonight. From around the world, they have gathered the best in martial arts, and behind me, they will have a test of not only spirit, but soul and martial arts skill against the best competition they have ever seen. It should be special tonight. There's no escape here. You can only lose by submission or knockout, or if someone throws in the towel, and the 20-minute time limit most likely will not even be reached. Should be an exciting night of super fighting tonight. And for more on tonight's matchup, we will move along to our ringside announcers. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, and hello, everybody. Jim Brinson, Ron Van Cleef, and also Dr. Alan Brackup. We will indeed call the action for you tonight, gentlemen. The big feature match, naturally, is Taktarov and Gracie. Ron, let's start with you. Your thoughts on Oleg?
Oleg Taktarov is one of the toughest fighters in this type of event. I've seen him fight in the UFC. I've seen him fight in Russia. He's not going to submit.
Dr. Allen, let's go to you.
Well, we have a special opportunity tonight to see one of the top Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stylists really at the top of his game. An aggressive Brazilian fighter. Expect him to take the fight directly to Taktarov and be on top of him from the outset.
All right, gentlemen, if I could make you prediction time, what would it be? Okay, they're both speechless. Craig, back to you, buddy.
All right, Jim, we want to set the stage tonight. Mention the 10 bouts. Let's take you through them and show you what you'll be seeing tonight. First of all, starting it all off will be an outstanding 8-man single elimination tournament. Hey, you have to win not once, not twice. You've got to win 3 times to become the champion. Then Carlos Barreto will take on the Russian and Alexander Rafalski in an interesting battle of different styles, followed by Mario Sperry. The Brazilian Zen Machine will take on Andre Dutko. And then the main event we talked about, Renzo Gracie will take on Oleg Taktarov in what should be an outstanding matchup of 2 men who will not submit. You're going to have a winner in interesting fashion. So we'll see the main event and the rest of the card in just a moment. But for now, let's check in with our ringside roving reporter. Right now is near the dressing room area, Julie Croteau. Julie, take it away.
I'm actually in the warm-up area, but I'm telling you, I'm back here. I'm going to be reporting all night long. I have full access to all of the fighters, so whatever you need, I got. Jim?
Thank you very much, Julie. And yes, we are just about ready to get this one underway as our first match will be coming up soon. Here is the bracketing for the Reality Super Fighting Tournament. Gentlemen, your thoughts on the brackets?
Well, looking at this bracket that we're seeing here in front of us, Tom Erickson is certainly someone that has to be taken very seriously. 2-time All-American and U.S. Olympic team alternate. He's an excellent grappler. Murilo Bustamante, also an excellent fighter from Brazil. Serge Nersessian, Savat fighter, also expected to do well against Peters. And Matsumoto, a superb karate stylist, former All Japan champion.
All right, Ron, you've got the second half.
Kromkowski, he is a sambo player. He wrestles, he fights, he punches, he kicks. He's quite all around. Hazeman is from Australia. He's a kickboxer and a freestyle wrestler. Peters is from Holland, and he does sambo, Thai boxing, which is Muay Thai, and boxing. We have then Juan Mott from Atlanta, who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's quite an excellent athlete.
All right, we are just a moment away here from our first combat to take place in the circle. And here we go with it right now. This is Reality Super Fighting in the Circle of Truth. And our first matchup, Tom Erickson against Alexander Kromkowski. And here is the tail of the tape for these fine combatants. As you see, age 1 year differential for the Russian, 1 inch differential in height, and the weight advantage of 20 pounds for Kromkowski. The discipline sambo against freestyle wrestling. And right now, it is time for the combatants to enter the Circle of Truth. the rules for reality super fighting. In the circle of truth, all striking techniques permitted except to the throat. No biting, gouging, fish hooking. All submission holds and joint locks are permitted. Fence may not be used as an offensive or defensive weapon when the bout is indeed in progress. Also, fighter submits when he taps out, and we'll explain that if indeed it takes place. The corner can also toss in the towel, and the referee or ring physician can indeed stop the contest, and there can be a disqualification. Those are the rules. Let's go now to our ring announcer, Chuck Hall.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the Alabama State Fair Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. Mars presents Reality Super Fighting in the Circle of Truth. This event features an 8-man elimination with 3 match fights, pitting the devastation of Brazilian athletes versus the combat capabilities of Russia's best. And included in tonight's card is the feature bout of the evening, the Super Fight. The officials assigned for this event this evening, the attending physician at ringside is Dr. Raj Panda, and your referee is Fred Latuli. The opening bout, ladies and gentlemen, featuring a young man from Russia who advocates the Sambo style of combat. He weighs in at 300 pounds. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. Introducing Alexandra Kramshovsky. And his opponent this evening, he features freestyle wrestling, a popular Olympic competitor from the United States of America. He weighs 280 pounds, stands at 6 feet 4 inches tall. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the very popular Tom Erickson.
Ron Van Cleef, Dr. Alan Brackup will give you insightful commentary as this bout is just about ready to begin.
Are you ready? Let's do it.
Gentlemen, 2 big men in the ring early.
Interesting, Erickson is going with punches initially, now to the ground.
And this is exactly where Erickson would want his opponent.
Erickson has been training with Mark Coleman, well-versed in this type of fighting.
You know, I watched Tom wrestle last night, and he was saying he was going to be very, very aggressive today. And he's doing exactly what he was going to say.
Not wasting any time, using wrestling techniques, of course, from the freestyle.
He's taking his opponent's back, and it looks like he's going for a choke. A naked strangle. Kramshovsky wouldn't let him take the neck. Erickson is softening him up with a rain of elbow attacks.
Once again, it is Erickson who has been in entire control of this match early.
Right now, in truth, the Russian is hanging on.
You know, Tom is trying to distract him with the elbow strikes in order to get his neck up to go for the choke.
Absolutely, that's his goal, and that's all the Russian's doing right now. He's covering up that neck, willing to withstand these blows to prevent a final submission. Erickson has the hooks in well. With great finds, he's in complete control on his opponent's back.
Looks like he's going for an armbar.
Could that be a submission hold if he were to get it?
Yes, it would. It could be, though. It's difficult to get from his back. He's turning his opponent over, going into a mounted position almost. There's one leg caught between his opponent's legs. Really been all Erickson.
Those elbow strikes can be very devastating in as far as disorienting an opponent.
Watch your fighter.
We just see no attempt from the Russian fighter to try and escape from this position.
Tom is in total control of this match.
This is certainly a far cry from traditional freestyle wrestling as he would have done for the Olympics.
Get the doctor come and look and hold the position. Hold the position.
At this time, they're calling the ringside physician to take a look at the Russian fighter to see if he's still in condition to continue.
All right, so the referee right on top of the action. The action will be stopped, but they won't let them move from that position.
Neither one, don't move. No
The ringside physician will now come in and examine the fighter.
What he's looking for here is the fighter able to continue. Is he cognizant of everything going on around him? Or are there cuts that really would be dangerous if this were allowed to continue?
You ready? Begin!
And the match is allowed to continue.
Well, the Russian is giving his arm up there. If you notice, his right arm is being extended, and Erickson will take advantage of that at the time.
You know, the Russians are so tough, they will not concede a match. They will not submit.
Ron, you have been in the ring several times with Russian fighters, and they just refuse to quit.
They refuse to quit.
Chomsky obviously at a distinct disadvantage and has been the entire portion of this fight.
It is interesting what he's doing with his arms right now and trying to counter Erickson. These are not the moves of someone who's experienced in this type of fighting from the ground.
Holding that fence.
Again, Erickson has his left arm if he wants to do something with it, but he's content to rain blows down upon Chomsky.
And at this particular time now, are both fighters sort of taking a little break, Ron, or?
Actually, Tom is trying to get it over with, but
he's having a struggle
difficult because he's a big man and he's tough. I mean, he's just a tough guy.
And he refuses to submit.
Beat off the fence.
You know, I've trained in Russia. They will not submit. That's part of the Russian discipline.
Again, the Russian fighter is on his stomach, the worst possible position.
Tom Erickson, the freestyle wrestling man from the USA, in charge.
You know, what we've seen in the past and looking at wrestlers in this type of event is that they're extremely good in taking their opponent to the ground. They're extremely good in establishing their dominance in their base. Their deficit is in submission holds, finishing the fight.
Finishing movements, that's true.
We're seeing it here.
So he really doesn't have a particular move to finish the opponent off quickly.
He doesn't have enough moves or the skill there.
He's actually going for the choke, but it's kind of hard because he's keeping his neck down.
We've seen wrestlers like Tom Erickson destroy their opponents over time. They beat them down, but they don't finish them as readily as, for example, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stylist Mike, trained in this type of fight. And the other thing to consider here is this is a single elimination tournament. Tom Erickson's going to have to fight again, and he's expending energy here.
That's correct.
These events are very difficult in that you expend so much energy in your first fight. And the second fight, it's very difficult. You have to be in extremely good condition to fight 3 fights to win an event like this.
And we're talking, as we mentioned, about 2 of the biggest men in this tournament itself. One at 300 pounds and Erickson at 280.
Extremely unorthodox for the Russian fighter to be on his stomach and just withstanding these blows. Again, Erickson would love to just finish this off with a submission hold.
Well, I think when they asked for the ring doctor to check out Chomkowski, I think Erickson felt that that would have been the beginning of the end, but that has not materialized.
He's been going for the arm, the Russian's right arm, but he's unable to get it thus far.
It's there. It's right there.
And he's been able to grasp it, right?
He's not comfortable with taking it, it appears. He's not willing to go for the bar, because if you miss the bar, you lose your position of dominance. Then he's on his back. Then he has to start over again. Now we're looking at a leg. There's an attempted leg lock and back.
Once again, there has been virtually no offense from the Russian, Chomkowski.
The Russian has taken over 50 shots by now.
Erickson's looking tired to me.
Well, I was going to ask you, could it be similar to a heavyweight boxing match? Could he punch himself out?
Of course.
Absolutely, although we must say Erickson looks to be in superb shape for this event. But yes, he can.
He finally got the choke.
Well, it's on the chin right now. See if he can tuck it under the chin. He hasn't been able to do so far. You know, Erickson has big arms. It's to his disadvantage in terms of trying to bring that around under the chin, across the neck.
Russian still unable to get off the mat as Erickson has had him there the entire bout.
Russian really hasn't tried.
That knee was excellent.
Again, Erickson moving around him, as would a freestyle wrestler, as we would expect. Keeping that pace, keeping it dominant.
I mean, it's fascinating to see how the freestyle fighters are able to use punches and elbows and knees, how quickly they acclimate to this event.
But it's also interesting to see how someone as large as the Russian fighter is able to withstand that to submission. Now, this is applying pressure to the ankle, but it's off.
But he couldn't hang on to it.
No, he couldn't. He's going back to what he was doing. I'm sure Erickson's very frustrated right now. Saying, what else do I have to do to this guy to give up?
And the blows which he was administering early in the fight do not seem to have the same effect right now.
He's a two-handed guy.
He's already tired.
He certainly is. Yeah, but he has some excellent fighters to come up against later in this event. The referee is admonishing the Russian fighter now to fight back.
He has been unable to fight back from the opening seconds of this bout. And this has been the position in which the fighters have been in. All Tom Erickson thus far.
No, if Erickson were in a freestyle match, there's such a thing as stalling.
Well, I think the ring doctor just stepped in and called it. He did. That's it. So Tom Erickson, who expended an awful lot of energy, finally comes up with a victory.
Well, that Russian fighter was able to withstand tremendous punches.
It's amazing the discipline and the concentrative ability that the Russians have. I mean, they're unbelievable. Their pain tolerance is extremely high.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, let's face facts. I mean, the guy can really take the pain and the punching.
What Erickson really needed were finishing holds at that point.
And look at him gasp for air. I mean, he is the winner, but you know what? He knows he's going to have to fight in just a few more minutes.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to show you the immediate beginning of this fight, and watch Erickson with a couple of quick shots right there, and then the immediate takedown, and it put Tom Erickson in control right from the get-go.
Absolutely. We'd expect a fighter of this international caliber to be able to do this.
And then for the next 7 or 8 minutes, this is the way that the fight continued until the ring doctor said that was it.
We've seen this before multiple times. We've seen Mark Coleman in this type of event. We've seen Mark Schultz in this type of event. Superb wrestlers. If anything, the weakness is the finishing hold.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 9 minutes, 26 seconds, referee Fred Latuli stops the bout. The winner from the United States of America, Tom Erickson.
Well, so Tom Erickson advances in the tournament. All right, our second reality super bout coming up right now. Chris Haseman and Murillo Bustamante coming up for you right now, as we will check out now the tail of the tape on both fighters. 3-year age difference, the height the same, and a 230-pound advantage now for Haseman, and the discipline jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And right now, here come the combatants. So the fighters still back in their dressing rooms. We'll pause momentarily, and there they are as you take a look at the back dressing room area. And there is Haseman preparing to step out into the circle of truth. Some cleanup continuing in the ring, and that is why we have a momentary lull in the action.
We're privileged tonight to be able to have such superb Brazilian stylists on the card. We're seeing multiple styles, and Murillo Bustamante is one, a 2-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. Let's expect to see him take the fight directly to the ground.
All right, and here come the fighters now. Brazilian champion, Murilo Bustamante, and Chris Haseman. Right now, here's Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing for the next event of the evening, from the land down under of Australia, an advocate of jiu-jitsu and karate. He stands at 6 feet 1 inches tall, weighs 230 pounds. Introducing Chris Haseman. And his opponent from the country of Brazil, an advocate of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, weighing in at 195 pounds. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall. Introducing Murilo Bustamante.
Once again, gentlemen, set us up quickly on this bout.
Well, Bustamante expected to take the fight directly to the ground. Extremely experienced in this type of fighting. We'll have to see if Haseman can stand up long enough to inflict some kind of damage. The answer appears not.
Big mistake throwing a side kick at a jiu-jitsu man. They grab your leg, they take you to the floor immediately.
He immediately has his opponent's back. He's putting in the hooks. He's exactly where he wants to be so early in the fight.
We will wait and see now if Haseman can regain his balance and struggle back to his feet.
Bustamante's working around beautifully, getting in the hooks now. He'll try and stretch those legs out. Throw his pelvis down to keep the opponent down.
And now he's going to lock in. He's going to lock in and then deliver.
Look at the hold he's got. He's going to try and get that naked strangle.
I mean, it's amazing how the Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners use that elbow to distract their opponent so that they can go for that choke.
Beautiful.
And the towel has already been tossed in.
Bustamante is bewildered.
And that is it. And Chris Haseman never had a chance.
It seems like another Brazilian jiu-jitsu textbook.
Again, we're seeing superb Brazilian fighters tonight. Renzo Gracie will see the best, among the best, but certainly we're seeing excellent fighters, and this is what they're capable of doing so rapidly.
Interesting that that one ended so quickly, and our first match nearly went 10 minutes.
That's the difference. Although, Ron, as you were saying, the Russian fighter absorbed much more punishment.
Surely.
All right, let's go up to ring announcer Chuck Hull for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 6 seconds. The towel was thrown in as a sign of submission. The winner is Murilo Bustamante.
A popular competitor. And Haseman will retire to the locker room. His work is done. And Bustamante will fight another day. And here is why.
Well, Haseman made a mistake. He threw a side kick, and the kick was grabbed, took him down, one leg takedown, went to the mount position, went behind him, and that was it.
Well, certainly by taking his back, he put himself in the position he wanted more than any other. The elbows are strictly to get him to soften up. He wants the neck. He wants submission.
Interesting that Ron always refers to it as a distraction, where he's actually, yes, it may be, but he is delivering some heavy punishment here.
Oh, you feel those the next day.
And then, of course, the towel was tossed in. And it is Bustamante who will once again enter the circle of truth this evening.
And, you know, that's the advantage of this type of fighting versus boxing. In boxing, you're not allowed to quit. You know, you take too much abuse.
It's very, very true. A fighter will not quit by himself. When I work in a corner as a ringside physician, I'll look at the manager. And it's the manager who'll look at me and say, I think he's had enough. The fighter himself will not submit.
All right, our next bout, Serge Narcissian from France and Willie Peters from Holland. And these two combatants, Peters 2 years younger, an inch in height, goes to Narcissian. The weight within 10 pounds, the discipline, free fighting for Peters, and Savat for Sission.
Savat is the traditional Parisian form of self-defense. It combines karate, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling.
For those unfamiliar with it, it can be a devastating martial arts form. Gerard Gordeau fought in one of the original events in this country and did extremely well in this.
then I believe that reality-based fighting will be the sport of the 21st century.
As you see by the graphic, the Holland cage match champion.
Yes, he can kick, punch, and grapple. He's a well-rounded fighter.
Well, we'll see. The Savate fighter will try and stay on his feet. What he will do best are low-lying leg kicks, as well as his punches. He'll try and stand up. The question is, can he do so?
All right, let's go up to Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next event, featuring a young man who hails from the country of Holland, is a proponent of free fighting. He stands at 6 feet 1 inches. He weighs 220 pounds. Introducing Willie Peters. And his opponent hails from the country of France. He's an advocate of savate and sambo combat. He stands at 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighs 230 pounds. Introducing Sergei Narsisyan.
And this bout is officially underway. And shots immediately exchanged, and then the kicks. And the takedown.
At this point, Peters is within the guard of the Parisian fighter, attempting to keep him off, trying to keep his distance away. Remains to be seen how experienced, how proficient he is from this position.
You know, I've seen Peters fight in Holland. He's tough.
Now, what the Parisian is trying to do is, Narsisyan's trying to keep him close. He doesn't want to give him distance to allow him to punch.
It is Peters right now in control. Narsisyan trying to maintain.
Although it's for the experienced fighter, the position that Narsisyan is in will be to their advantage. A Brazilian fighter will be much more happy, much more comfortable where the Parisian is rather than where Peters is.
I mean, Peters has hit him with a headbutt 5 times already.
That's going to scramble you a little bit, isn't it?
He's not ready tomorrow. He needs to keep him close. He needs to keep careful watch on Peters' arms. He doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to get headbutt.
That's right. Keep punching. Hand up your toe. Attrape la jambe.
Once again, the exchange is being made, and you see the headbutt attempt, and then a couple of shots with the right hand.
Peters is getting distance. He'll be very happy to stay in this position all night if he's getting distance and he can punch.
And another headbutt.
To punch from the bottom in the guard is very difficult. He's really getting no power.
It's impossible to get leverage if you're on the bottom.
The advantage on the bottom is being able to work an arm lock, a choke, a leg lock. The question is, does Narsisyan know enough from this position to be able to do it?
Obviously, he is not comfortable being in this bottom position. He's generally used to being standing up.
Now, this is something we've seen more and more, where fighters are comfortable being within the guard and punching down on their opponent if the person on the bottom doesn't really know how to use this position to their advantage.
And another headbutt.
The fingers.
Well, Peters placing pressure against the neck. It's annoying.
I mean, and he's using his forearm against the throat, so that cuts down the wind, which makes the opponent tired.
Absolutely.
Peters once again maintaining his stature up above. And finally, the kick out, and Peters is looking for another avenue. He's trying to roll him over.
Peters should be, Narsisyan should have been on his feet. That's where he fights.
And that's exactly right now. Yeah, Peters was looking for that avenue, and he got it.
Hooks are in. Let's see what he can do from here.
Ron, since you have seen Peters in action before, does he generally try to control from the top like this?
Yes, he does, and he can rain some heavy punches down if he can get them off.
But all of a sudden, the big change.
Now, Narcissian is trying to place his arms around the neck in the guillotine choke. He doesn't, however, have any leverage. His legs are not wrapped around his opponent. It's going to be difficult, if not impossible.
And it is Peters now who is attempting to escape. Once again, they are bunched up against the fence, and one of the rules is you cannot use the fence to your advantage. And they separate.
Narcissian looks tired.
And Peters senses and tries to close in.
Seriously, Narcissian certainly is not adopting the standard posture for a savant flank.
No, he isn't. I think he's tired already, and when you get tired, it's really hard to keep to your strategy. You know, punching an opponent's head will affect you. You will not be able to punch in your next fight. It's unbelievable.
And one of the rules of this event is, interestingly, if someone wears gloves, if a combatant wears gloves, they're very thin. Wearing heavy gloves changes the fight completely.
It allows you to punch more and harder and longer.
Tom Erickson in our first round had gloves on.
There's a knockdown from the right. Narcissian is on his back. Pressure's going to defend himself.
And that's it.
The referee steps in and says no.
And that's it right there. Peters. And he will indeed fight another time.
All right.
And they will attend quickly to Narcissian to make sure that he is okay.
From a physician standpoint, the care here is second to none. There are specialists in every area.
And even Peters went over to make sure that his opponent was all right.
He's not hurt. He's just tired. I know how tired you can get in there.
All right, let's go up to the ring and Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 5 minutes, 3 seconds. The winner by submission due to a towel being thrown to the center of the ring from down under in Holland, Willie Peters.
So, Ron, Willie Peters surprises you with what you saw early on in this fight. He maybe went away from what you were accustomed to seeing.
I expected Willie to do that. I mean, what he does is he closes the gap, and he can grapple. He can strike and grapple, and it's very important.
Well, you talk about the grappling. Here is the takedown right here.
Well, it was an attempt to take down by Narcissian.
Sort of half in a guard there. Here's the escape.
And this was well executed here by Narcissian.
Narcissian finally gave himself some distance and got up on his side. Now,
and they will move along now to the end of the fight when indeed the towel is tossed in. And
there's that right.
Right, and both Alan and Ron indicated that at this particular time, Narcissian was just worn out.
Completely exhausted.
The referee very appropriately stepped in. One point that we just saw as Narcissian was attempting to choke around the neck, there was an arm between his own arm and the opponent's neck, preventing that choke from being useful.
All right, our next bout on Reality Super Fighting. Yasunori Matsumoto and Juan Mott.
Mohammed.
And this should be a dandy, gentlemen. They will indeed get down in the circle of truth. As Matsumoto makes his way into the ring.
We haven't really seen a true Japanese stylist, at least from Japan, since early on in this type of event when Royce Gracie took out a fighter rather rapidly from Japan. It will be interesting to see how well this fighter, well known for his durability, does in the circle of truth.
And he's versed in karate and judo.
All right, let's go up to Chuck Hall right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the ring at this time, a young man who hails from Atlanta, Georgia. He is an advocate of the Yamato Damashi combat style. He weighs 190 pounds. He stands 6 feet tall. Introducing Juan Mat. And his opponent from the country of Japan, advocating karate as his combat style, weighing in at 190 pounds, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall. Here is Yaroshiro Manasote.
All right, we're getting ready for this one. At 40 years of age, a detriment.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
No.
Let's do it.
And why, Ron?
The Japanese have unbelievable endurance and they have discipline. Their whole code of honor does not allow them to submit either. You know, I saw Matsumoto in Japan. He had his arm broken and he would not submit.
Wow. And Mott delivering quickly with the right hands, and they both go for side kicks.
The Japanese fighters moving forward and back. In Kyokushin or other Japanese styles, circular movements really are not a significant part of the style. He knows front and back. Attack, attack.
Once again, the circle in the ring cannot be used as an advantage in these bouts. Matsumoto trying to turn the action in his favor as Mott has the early upper hand.
Both fighters seem content to be standing.
Interesting to either one of you. Ron, let's start with you.
They should try to take him to the floor, and I expect to see that soon.
That was going to be my question. Yes, I thought there might have been a takedown much sooner than this.
I agree. Knowing you're fighting a Japanese karate stylist, I would think go to the ground if you have ground grappling training.
Oh, here we go with the guillotine. Matsumoto has a guillotine.
Has he locked it in?
If he can hold it. Juan Mat needs to counter this. He needs to bring himself very close to his opponent, wrap his arm around him. Don't let Matsumoto get leverage and crank that choke. He's not doing it. We can't see the forearm to see what truly Matsumoto has this choke in.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. There's an arm in between the choke.
So he doesn't have it locked in cleanly.
Not at all.
Matsumoto locked in on top.
Matsumoto is using his knee to attack Juan's legs, which will have an effect later. And those stomps on the top of the foot will definitely affect his kicking and standing ability later on.
No, it's interesting. Both fighters are probably finding themselves in a position with which they're not entirely comfortable or familiar.
And Juan has just put his hand inside of the grab, so I guess he's not going to be able to crank that choke.
He's trying to, look like he was trying to pick him up.
Looked like a suplex.
Yeah, it did.
Now, it's interesting. If that arm is in tightly, if Matsumoto were to wrap his legs around Juan Mat, go to the ground on his back, he'd have far greater leverage to apply this choke.
And Mott finally broke the hold.
Finally broke the hold.
And then delivers a fierce right hand. And another. And Matsumoto locks him up.
Ron, you think this could be one of the longer fights of the night?
It will be a longer fight. I mean, I can see that Matsumoto is just working slowly, patiently, using the knee against the leg in the groin area. That knee hit him in the face. It was good.
Mott being inexperienced, as in comparison to Matsumoto, could he tire himself, really not having a way to pace himself in this match?
Well, youth has an advantage in this type of event.
And Mott landing, and often.
I mean, that was a nice round kick that Juan Mat threw, but it wasn't powerful.
Matsumoto, a veteran of the wars in Japan, he'll take far more than that. Pretty neat.
Go. Keep on working him. Let's get him back. Get him back. Let's go. Don't forget those knees. Don't forget those knees.
Once again, they are backed up against the protective screen.
Back that body. Calm the mind.
Referee checking.
Looked almost like a sumo hold, grabbing the trunks behind him.
Go house, fight out. Let's go. Go house. You guys gotta stay busy to win some money. Let's go.
Referee warning the two grapplers to stay busy.
That's right. Relax that body, calm the mind.
Ron, is there a tendency when you have an opportunity like this to try to get a quick breath, a quick rest?
Yes, yes.
And this obviously would be the time when you're both engaged so closely and you're up against the fence.
Of course. They've been up for a long time. I expected Mott to take Matsumoto to the floor earlier in this event.
One thing that's very interesting to see here is that in an event where you're allowed to clinch and not separate it, how difficult it can be to put your opponent down with a punch or a kick.
It is obvious that Mott has landed the heavier punches. And there is a direct knee. And he's out. He's out. And that's it.
Beautiful knee to the face. Took him completely by surprise.
And Juan Mott in disbelief of his victory.
That fighter is out. Ring doctor should be coming in.
And they will quickly attend to Matsumoto.
Matsumoto is out on his feet.
Right knee to the chin, right hook to the jaw.
Beautiful. Out before he hit the canvas.
And Juan Mott will fight another time.
You know, there's one thing that's said. A good jaw is not made. A good jaw is something you're born with. And we may have just seen there evidence where someone had those neuronal pathways, the nerves that go from the jaw to the brain, hit the right way, put him out.
And once again, they are checking on Matsumoto.
For a boxer, you'd say, wouldn't say a weak chin, but you'd say it's a chin you want to take advantage of.
All right, let's go up to ring announcer Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 5 minutes, 20 seconds. The winner due to submission by a towel being thrown into the ring, Juan Mott.
And Juan Mott is in the semifinals. Now you see the combatants here all of a sudden tie up and
Right
then
knee.
bang, the right knee.
Right knee to the chin.
Right to the chin.
And he was out on his feet and went down. He was finished right there, right?
He's out now. He's out now.
And immediately the referee steps in and stops the bout. And Matsumoto, we can tell you while we watch the replay once again, is up and walking back to the dressing room, and he is okay.
It's one of those flash knockdown type of attacks.
And Mott did not waste any time, Ron, in taking the advantage after the knee landed.
Without a doubt, he went right to the mounted position and full speed blasting time. 4 or 5 punches of face, that was it.
And then the celebration, even in disbelief that he is the winner. Well, what is that feeling like right there?
You're so happy it's over. And you won. It's unbelievable.
All right, we continue here with Reality Superfighting in the Circle of Truth. And right now we're going to go back to the dressing rooms, and here's Julie.
Well, there's considerably more tension back here. We tried to get to both of the main event fighters. Neither would let us near. Renzo Gracie will not let us in the locker room. He says he needs to focus to get hyped up for the event. We also saw Oleg warming up just a second ago here. When we came over with the cameras, he stopped and went back in his locker room. So they both are getting geared up for the main event.
All right, Julie, thank you very much. You're watching Reality Superfighting in the Circle of Truth. Now, it is time for one of the bouts which, gentlemen, you talked about earlier tonight in our telecast, the Barreto-Rafalski bout. And here come the combatants. We anticipate an explosive combatic situation between Carlos Barreto and Alexander Rafalski. It'll be Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Brazil against Sambo Russia. And here is the tale of the tape on these two combatants, both age 28, 1 inch in height and weight differential. And you see the disciplines, Sambo and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And now it is time for the combatants to enter the Circle of Truth. everybody in the ring. We are just about ready for the introductions, and here is our ring announcer, Chuck Hall.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the Alabama State Fair Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. Mars presents reality super fighting in the Circle of Truth. This event features an 8-man elimination with 3 match fights pitting the devastation of Brazilian warheads against the combat capabilities of Russia's best. Included in tonight's program, the feature bout of the evening, the Super Fight. The referee for tonight's event will be Mr. Fred Latuli. The attending physician at ringside is Dr. Robert Panja. The first bout of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, featuring a young man hailing from Russia. He is an advocate of the Sambo style of combat. He stands 6 feet 3 inches in height. He weighs 215 pounds. His name is Alexander Rafalski. And his opponent for the evening, he hails from the country of Brazil. He is a student of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. He weighs 227 pounds. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall. His name is Carlos Barreto.
All right, Ron Van Cleef, let's get your prediction on this one of what we're going to see first.
Well, Alexander Rafalski was a prisoner of war during the war in Afghanistan, so he's got extra discipline.
Dr. Alan Brackup.
Well, I think we're already seeing it. An aggressive, large Brazilian fighter immediately going to take the fight to the ground.
And that's exactly what has taken place right now. You see the Russian at least trying to spin and control the action, but so far to no avail. Again, the entanglement right now between the two fighters.
At this point, the Brazilian fighter is in a cross-eyed position. He's probably looking to get into what's called the mount position, where he brings his right leg completely over the body of the Russian fighter.
Watch the fingers. Watch the fingers. Watch the fingers.
Barreto is in the, almost trying to get in the mount position. Looks like he's using his knee to the side of Rafalski.
There he goes. The knee's going, knee to the abdomen. He's going to try and slide it across. He's in a very dominant position, and there he is in the mount.
And they have tossed in the towel. They have tossed in the towel. The towel has been tossed in from the corner.
One important thing to note here, the goal was not to hurt the Russian fighter, but rather to get the Russian fighter to roll over to his stomach to allow a submission hold to be applied.
And he was split open across the forehead, and immediately Rafalski's crew members tossed in the towel.
Well, Rafalski is a stand-up fighter. It looked as if Barreto came in, double leg takedown, took him to the floor, and does what most Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people do.
And he was out of his element almost immediately at that particular time.
Oh, almost immediately.
And the announcement right now from the ringman, Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the contest ends due to the fact the towel was thrown into the ring. The winner from Brazil, Carlos Barreto.
So it is Barreto. Surrendering is Rafalski. And it didn't take long for this one to change. You see, they immediately began in the stand-up position, but then, as Ron and Alan both indicated, the takedown by Barreto right away.
At this point, Barreto is establishing dominance immediately. The Russian fighter is not able to control him from his back. Barreto will, in complete control as the leg slides over to the mount position. At this point, the Russian fighter has no opportunity to inflict any damage on Barreto.
And of course, you can see the official in the ring immediately try to step in and separate the two combatants, and the towel was tossed into the ring. So that will take care of that particular bout, and the win going, and very quickly, to Carlos Barreto.
All right, Jim, Craig Minervini just outside the Circle of Truth. We've seen a little bit of everything so far. An early submission, a lengthy submission in the Erickson win, and the incredible knockout knee from Juan Mott as the quarterfinals are over now in the elimination tournament. Tom Erickson getting set to take on Willie Peters, and Bustamante will take on Mott in the semifinals. Winners there We'll meet in the finals from the elimination tournament. What a start so far. Let's go back now to Jim Brinson. Jim?
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Gentlemen, Ron and Alan, quickly let us assess what we're going to see next, the first semifinal. Tom Erickson, Willie Peters. Ron, your thoughts?
Well, this should be an excellent match. I mean, Willie Peters is more of a striker. Tom is a grappler, and we should see Tom take him to the floor almost immediately.
Alan?
Since Tom is so big.
Okay.
Boy.
I concur with Ron. I think Tom Erickson will be able to take Willie Peters to the ground at will, given his experience. The question is, will he be able to finish him off this time, as compared to the last fight?
That's correct, and we want to expound upon that we felt that at that particular time when Erickson had the big Russian down, he just didn't have a submission type hold to put on the big guy. Erickson and Peters upcoming here on Reality Super Fighting. It is the Circle of Truth, and here come the combatants. All right, let's go up to the ring now, and ring announcer Chuck Hall.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the young man from Holland who is an advocate of free fighting, standing at 6 feet 1 inches, weighing 220 pounds, introducing once again Willie Peters. And his opponent in this elimination bout, from the United States of America, an advocate of freestyle wrestling, weighing 280 pounds, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, here is the very popular Tom Erickson.
All right, gentlemen, two men who will go head-to-head in the Circle of Truth. It is our first semifinal matchup of the tournament tonight. And we're underway.
An immediate takedown.
Erickson using his freestyle wrestling technique.
And that's exactly what I expected from Tom, to come right in, grab him, throw him to the floor.
Now remember, this is the same position that Erickson found himself in with the Russian fighter.
But he's going for the choke a lot quicker this time.
And this is a much smaller man than the 300-pounder, gentlemen.
Yes, it is. He's
cranking his neck.
And there it is, right there.
Actually, what happened there, Erickson placed his forearm across the cheekbone of Peters. He was applying pressure. Really, it's the second branch of the trigeminal nerve. Let's get technical. He's applied pressure to that nerve. He cranked his arm across, as Ron said. Very, very painful.
And Peters did not hesitate to tap the floor 3 quick times, and that means I quit.
That's an exceedingly painful position to be in. Erickson did himself a great favor. That was a quick fight. It's over with. He'll get a chance to recoup before his next match.
That's interesting because we were discussing how he did not really have a pinning combination in his first fight. This time he didn't hesitate at all. Let's go up to the ring, and here is Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 31 seconds, there was a tap out. The winner of this elimination bout Tom Erickson.
So Willie Peters is done for the evening, and Tom Erickson will fight again.
It's interesting, Erickson did not apply a traditional finishing hold. That was a painful finishing hold, but not a true choke.
Look at this. He gave him maybe the little arm wrap and then just went right for his midsection, guys, and just took him right to the mat. Ron, you said you expected this right from the very beginning, and you got it.
You know, I watched Tom work out yesterday, and he's so fast. He can just move right in. It's over.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Mark Schultz, Coleman, these guys can take their opponents down virtually at will.
And, of course, the end coming up right here, and there you see the elbow lock.
Yeah, actually, it was across the front of the face, across the cheekbone, applying pressure to the nerve there. Extremely painful.
That also affects the back of the neck.
Absolutely.
And, of course, our next fight, Murillo, Bustamante, and Juan Mott. That is coming up from the Alabama State Fair Arena here in Birmingham, Alabama, on Reality Super Fighting. And here come the combatants. The combatants are in the ring. Let's go up now to Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second of the semifinal events in the tournament. Introducing from Atlanta, Georgia, a young man standing 6 feet tall, weighing 190 pounds. His second appearance of the evening, here is Juan Mott. And his opponent, also his second appearance of the evening, from Brazil, 6 feet 1 inches, weighing 195 pounds, introducing Murillo Bustamante.
Well, gentlemen, Juan Mott became an instant favorite when he took care of Matsumoto so quickly with that high right knee and knocked him out on his feet. But this is a whole different animal he's going to tangle with now.
I think we'll see very rapidly the difference between the prior fight and this one.
This is interesting. This is the first time we've had players more or less stand in the center of the ring and eye each other, and then the immediate takedown, Ron.
Bustamante went for that one leg, took it down, and there it is. He's already ready to do damage.
Now, it's interesting. He was inside the guard easily, quickly out. Mott is trying to grab for a leg. Bustamante is keeping him off with his feet from the guard, and now he's standing.
And immediately takes Mott back to the canvas.
He's in what's called a cross-eyed position. In this position, expect him to put that knee to the abdomen or to go over across into a complete mount.
You notice how Mott already has his leg up there to keep him from crossing over to the mount position.
So he's already figured out how to block that particular move right now. And he's trying to roll over.
Which would kill him. There's that knee to the abdomen, just as you expected. Bustamante has great distance to throw blows now. That's over.
That's it. Well, Ron, you indicated it was going to be quick, and it was. Juan Mott quickly tapping to get out of this one.
Once you turn over on your stomach, you're in deep trouble with these Brazilian fighters.
Once Bustamante got that knee in on the stomach, he was able to put pressure on the stomach, which is painful. He was also able to extend his body up to give himself distance to really punch with power. And he did that, forcing Mott to turn over on his stomach.
So Bustamante now advancing into the finals, and he's going to go against the big guy, Tom Erickson.
This is going to be a real treat. I know I've been looking forward to this type of event for a long time. A true international caliber heavyweight wrestler against a top Brazilian jiu-jitsu stylist. We're really in store for a treat.
All right, let's go up to the ring now for the official announcement. Here's Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 1 minute 9 seconds of the bout, the winner by submission is going into the final of the night, Mario Bustamante.
Gentlemen, let's take a look at it and how quickly it happened right here as Bustamante with the quick attack against Juan Mott.
And notice he took no blows. He got in rapidly and took it down. He sustained no damage himself.
And then the end came very, very quick and swift, Ron.
As soon as he turned him over on his stomach, it was over. And Mott knew it was over.
Yes.
All right, here in the circle of truth, it is reality super fighting. Hello, everybody. We have enjoyed our time here so far in Birmingham, Alabama. To be perfectly honest with you guys, we have had some excellent bouts early on.
I think we've seen some spectacular fights tonight. We've seen excellent technique. The Brazilians have shown what they can do. That right knee, the knee that took out the Japanese fighter, was a spectacular move.
Matsumoto, yeah, a spectacular move.
And now we're in store. What we have ahead of us really is just going to be a great fight.
Rod?
Well, it seems so far it's like the Brazilians have really reigned in the ring. They've reigned in the circle of truth.
Has that surprised you?
No. Brazilian jiu-jitsu people take their opponents to the floor immediately. Once they go to the floor, they go in a mount position, it's over.
What may be a little bit different for people watching this event is that what you're seeing tonight really are excellent Brazilian stylists. These fighters have trained under these conditions for years and years and years. The least experience of these fighters they have 10 years experience under their belts, so they know exactly what they're doing under these conditions.
All right, then I pose the question to both of you. Tom Erickson, Bustamante, what are we going to see in that one? We know the power of Erickson, the big guy.
I defer to initially.
Oh, you're going to defer?
I will.
Okay.
I'll give my point of view.
I expect to see Bustamante go for the takedown. I expect to see Tom then use some of that power to keep him from being choked out.
Mm-hmm. And your thought?
Well, if I had to choreograph this, I would expect Erickson to take down Bustamante, probably end up in a guard position. He'll be inside Bustamante's guard, and Bustamante will work from there. He'll try and work on some type of submission hold, a choke, an arm lock, keeping his distance, preventing him from getting hit.
Okay. Before, however, we get to that championship bout, we have another one coming up for you right now in the circle of truth. Well, the action, of course, is always fast and furious in the reality super fighting, and this match, no exception. Mario Sperry and Andre Dudko. Alabama State Fair Arena is where we are located for the Circle of Truth, and here is the tail of the tape for the two combatants. Sperry, you see, is 5 years older. Both are at 6'2". The weight advantage goes to Dudko. And, of course, Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is their discipline. And now, let's meet the combatants. And now let's go up to the
Ladies
ring.
and gentlemen, our next event of the evening features a young man from Russia who is a student of Muay Thai and Sambo combat. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighs 235 pounds. His name is Andre Dutko. And his opponent from the country of Brazil. He is a student of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighs in at 210 pounds. Introducing Mario Sperry.
All right, we are just about, gentlemen, to get this one underway. Let's get your thoughts, Ron, first.
Well, Dutko is a Muay Thai striker and kicker. If he has a chance, he's going to be able to kick and punch.
Dr. Allen?
Well, I expect this to be a similar fight to the last one, with Sperry attempting to take him directly to the ground.
Well, you nailed that one, because that's exactly what happened right there. And they are immediately locked up, struggling for position.
Sperry is already in a dominant position. He's in a mounted position, similar to what Barreto had in the last fight.
However, it appears now, right now, that Dutko has him pretty well locked up, so nothing is going to really happen. You're afraid right now to really make a serious move.
Although what we're seeing, in addition, if we looked at Sperry's legs where they had him before, he had the hooks in. He was holding position. He shifted now to a side position, still very dominant, knee to the abdomen, and there come the strikes.
Well, Mario is working his way up into the mount position where he will be in total control of Dutko. Dutko seems to be in deep trouble because Muay Thai fighters can't really fight on the ground.
So Dutko obviously is going to struggle and try to get back to his feet.
Dutko's going to try and get out of this position, which is his worst, certainly. Now, it's interesting, in Sperry's last fight, we saw him be in the mounted position a number of times with the opponent able to reverse from there. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight.
You see the time running down in the match. And they continue in the ring, the circle of truth. And now the strikes begin.
The strikes here are a diversion. Sperry really wants to get into a mounted position. From there, he can establish his base and take his time.
Notice how patient the Brazilian fighters are. They just take their time to get in the mounted position. It's all positional.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it didn't look like there was a big rush once he got him on his back.
Well, they relax at that point. They're not even working then. The person on the floor is the one that's working.
This is well in accordance with the textbook of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
This is actually another textbook match.
And there are the strikes right there.
Now, again, Sperry did lose that position. He's reestablishing it. He's in a cross side, but he's not as dominant as he was earlier.
But Dutko, on the other hand, hasn't really had an opportunity to go to the offensive at all.
And Mario has a great type fighting. He's fought over 200 times in Brazil.
At this point, Dutko is flat on his back. He needs to be up on his side in order to get some distance to go to work. He's allowing Sperry to move from side to side and do what he wishes.
The insightful commentary being provided by Ron Van Cleef, Dr. Alan Bracco. Struggling to try to get to his feet.
Now he's trying to take his back as Sperry, unable to do so. But he is in a mounted position.
I mean, I've been mounted by the Gracies. They are unbelievable in the mounted position.
From here, he'll take his time.
And once again, as Ron Van Cleef indicated, it is the man on the bottom who is really working the hardest.
Yes, because he's trying to get from underneath.
Sperry's looking at that left arm right now. Dutko is looking at a lot. He has it figure four. What he's going to try and do here is place a, really it's a shoulder lock. It's a, it was a diversion. Back up. but he can place a lock from that position. And here he goes again. He'll try and slide that arm off and place a lock. Take it behind his back, put pressure on the shoulder, cause it to submit. There it is. There it is.
And of course, the congratulations in place right there, as Mario Sperry is the winner. Back up now to Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to his opponent tapping out, the winner of this contest from Brazil, Mario Sperry.
4:14, the time of that match, gentlemen. And this match, of course, pretty much one-sided, as Andre Dutko really did not have an opportunity to do what he does best, and that is what Ron indicated, and that was stand up and fight.
This seems like another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu seminar.
Again, Sperry appears far more comfortable rather than being in the mounted position and being partially cross-eyed, but again, textbook. Establishing dominance, position, and going to work.
All right, now we'll move ahead to the submission right here. A couple of shots, and you indicated right here, Dr. Alan Brackup, that he was looking as those shots as setups to get to the submission position.
Well, the risk when fighting a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stylist, when the arm is around the neck as it is here, is that the stylist will take the arm off just as he did. He's drawing it backwards. He's placing pressure on the shoulder joint. And Sperry's just keeping his weight on him beautifully.
And you saw the tap out right there, and that, of course, ends the match. So it is Mario Sperry who collects the victory in the Circle of Truth.
All right, welcome back, Craig Minervini. Thankfully, outside the Circle of Truth, as we have shown you some incredible bouts tonight. The scorecard has the Brazilians, as Alan was mentioning earlier, at 4-0 now tonight, and the Russians so far are 0-3. One man who certainly would like to change all that, though, is in his dressing room getting ready for the main event, and that, of course, is Oleg Taktarov, the Russian, looking to beat the Brazilian, and Renzo Gracie. The main event is still coming up tonight. How about the elimination tournament so far? Tom Erickson got things off to a roaring start with a big win over the Russian. And then, if you look at the semifinals, relatively easy wins for both Erickson in 31 seconds and Bustamante in a minute and change. So those two, fortunately for them, should have a lot left for their third match of the evening, and that is, of course, a big test of endurance alone. Nonetheless, talking about their opponent, they're going to have quite a matchup. Big Tom Erickson, they call him the Big Cat, the former All-American out of Oklahoma State, using his freestyle to perfection, and also he's shown some great strength using his 280 pounds as well. Bustamante was also very impressive, so that sets up a great tournament final. Erickson and Bustamante coming up in just a bit, and then, of course, we'll have the main event, Taktarov and Gracie. Now, Juan Mott had a nice first win in the tournament, and Julie Croteau is standing by with Juan and his wife, I believe, right now. Julie, take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks, Craig. I am here with Juan Mott and his wife, Cheryl. Juan, you knocked out Matsumoto. Can you tell us a little bit about how this makes you feel?
I'm speechless. I tell you, I'm really speechless. I went in, and I never say I'm going to do my best, because losers always talk about their best. And my wife, Cheryl Whitney, told me I could do it, and the Swam family and my family came to support me, and I'm just terribly excited. I'm speechless, you know.
Now, Cheryl, I understand you play an integral role in your husband's career. Now, he was a late-minute addition to the card. Do you think people underestimated him?
Definitely. Juan is a warrior, and a lot of people don't realize it, but we knew it, and we knew that sooner or later the whole world was going to see it. And
well, I think you made your wife and America proud. Craig?
All right, Juan not able to advance to the finals, but certainly felt like a champion by winning in such an impressive fashion. You saw the big knee over Matsumoto as he did advance to the semifinals before getting taken out by a very game fighter in Bustamante. So Bustamante and Erickson will meet in a tournament championship. It's among the other fighters, this is a big test of endurance, because these are the only guys on the card tonight going to have to fight not only 2 times, but 3 times. And we'll see who comes out the winner. Tom Erickson from the U.S., or will it be the Brazilian in Bustamante? Certainly it's been an evening for the Brazilians. 4-0 so far on the card. The Russians are 0-3. Oleg Taktarov certainly wants to change that, and I'm sure Jim Brinson and the gang want to talk about what Oleg's chances are. Guys, can he change the trend tonight? Can he come up with a first win for the Russians and give the Brazilians their first loss? That's the big question tonight.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. I'm going to pose it to our panel of experts right now. Let's start first with the good doctor. Alan, your thoughts?
Well, if you asked me, push comes to shove, gun to my head, would I pick Oleg Taktarov to reverse the fortunes of the Russian fighters? The answer would be no. I would pick Renzo Gracie. And the reason, as we've said in the past, is Renzo is truly at the top of his game right now. Renzo is one of the top Brazilian stylists in the world. This is what he does day in and day out. At his academy in New York, he's just training constantly, working at this type of fighting. He's been doing it since he was a little child. So, to whom do I give the advantage? Renzo Gracie.
Ron?
I concur.
That's all he's going to say about the fight. You're watching reality, of course, Superfighting, and the tail of the tape for the championship tournament match coming up right now. A 2-year age advantage to Bustamante. The height 6'4" to 6'1", but the big discipline, or the big difference here, is the 280 pounds compared to the 195, and of course wrestling and the Brazilian jiu-jitsu discipline.
The Brazilians in the past have complained about the idea of a time limit when there are no weight divisions. And here we're asking a man who is 85 pounds lighter to defeat a man that much heavier who's very skilled in this type of fighting. Without a time limit, the Brazilians tend to try and tire you out. They're very comfortable in a defensive position. Now they're fighting not only against an opponent, but against the clock. Fortunately, these are aggressive fights.
All right, here are the brackets and the way that these two men arrived in the final. Erickson advancing relatively easily. Bustamante struggled a little and then all of a sudden took care of Mott in the semifinal without much of a problem. We are just about ready for the combatants to enter the circle of truth, and here they come. Level is rising quickly, and we are just about ready. Let's go up to the ring. Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final event of the elimination tournament. The winner of this bout will emerge the champion. Introducing once again from the United States of America, an advocate of freestyle wrestling, here's the very popular Tom Erickson. And an opponent in this final bout of the night in the elimination tournament, from Brazil, weighing in at 195 pounds, introducing Murilo Bustamante.
Well, Well, gentlemen, we will see if your prediction holds true. They both like Tom Erickson, and they like him quickly.
Well, I didn't like Tom Erickson. Let me just correct that.
Okay.
Again, gun to my head, Bustamante, but not quickly.
But not quickly, okay.
How about you, Ron? What was your call?
I called Bustamante also.
And the big man moves in quickly. And Bustamante tries to counter with inside punches.
And again, as we expected, Bustamante is working what's called an open guard. The legs are not wrapped around his back, but he's using them to keep the big man away. The Brazilian's extremely adept at controlling with their feet, and that's just what he's trying to do here.
But can he control 280 pounds?
It's going to take time. But he's also up against the fence. He's trying to move away. That's uncomfortable.
And Erickson now has him in a compromising position.
Not as compromising as you might think. Bustamante, let's watch. We have a better camera angle here. Still not allowing the big man to take his side or to mount him. He's moving, he's pivoting on his back, keeping his legs wrapped around him, protecting his head, protecting his face right now.
Ron, what do you see here?
Well, notice how Bustamante is pushing against Tom with his legs, so he doesn't have to control it.
And we've already seen that Erickson in his first match had difficulty when he had the man down, putting on a submission hold.
Well, freestyle wrestlers always have a hard time finishing in this type of event.
It says that Bustamante is not having fun right here, but he's not as uncomfortable as you would think.
And he lands some right hands, and he's hurt the big man.
Again, working the open guard. He has his feet tucked underneath the big man. Working him, keeping him off, keeping position. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going for some type of arm lock later on as Erickson tires.
And Erickson loses for a moment, but then quickly regathers and maintains the advantage on top. But is it truly an advantage?
I feel not.
Against the Brazilians, it's never an advantage to be on the top.
Now, we've seen in the past where fighters, wrestlers have been very effective from this position, staying inside the guard and punching at will. The difference is Bustamante is experienced at this point. He's keeping him away. He's not allowing himself to get hit. Let's face it, 85 pounds lighter, you better fight a tactical fight.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to pick him up and drop him, that's for sure. All right, has Erickson's weight advantage yet taken a toll on Bustamante?
From my standpoint, not as much as you might think. He's a big man. He is applying pressure. But, again, Bustamante is trained for this. He's done this over years. He's done Vale Tudo, no holds barred in Brazil.
Bustamante looks very relaxed. He's just waiting for the right movement.
In fact, it looked like he was trying to pivot out on his side and take the big man's back. I wouldn't be surprised again if he used that tactic.
Once again, it's Bustamante who is throwing inside punches with the right hand.
Erickson is not inflicting damage from here.
And right now, it's somewhat of a stalemate position, although the right arm with punches inside by Bustamante is still working.
Again, let's bring up the time limit. The Brazilians have objected to the time limit because here the much lighter man is not in bad shape. He wants to be able to work from this. It's a 30-minute time limit here. He has time to keep going.
And again, you see the big man, Erickson, attempting to use the right hand. And we must emphasize once again that this championship match has been extended to a 30-minute time limit. Ron, with what's happening right now, what do you see Bustamante attempting to do?
Looks like he's going for an arm lock or shoulder, right?
Now, I can't see it from here. He's certainly in position. He may be trying to, let's see, trying to hold that left arm. He's got his left arm. He's got his left arm. He's going for the lock. It's perfect position for an arm lock right here.
Okay.
The big man extended his arm inside the guard, but he's given it up. He couldn't get it. Truly, Erickson was most likely too strong. He flexed his arm and wouldn't allow it to be extended. But that's the risk, and the wrestlers know it from fighting inside the guard position.
They continue to be on the mat right near the fence area. It has been Erickson who has been on top the entire match.
It's interesting, when I spoke with Erickson, he said he was more comfortable in this position in the guard rather than being on the bottom, which is where you would typically expect a trained ground fighter, certainly a Brazilian jiu-jitsu stylist, to be more comfortable. He has said to me, though, that he's not looking to pass the guard to get out of this position for fear of giving up an arm lock, just as almost happened.
Ron, what's going through the fighters' heads right now? I mean, is one just trying to maintain and the other's trying to figure out a way to be the aggressor?
The Brazilian is just biding his time. He knows that Tom will eventually get tired because nothing's really happening.
Again, look at how well, look at the infighting. But to the casual observer, this is a stalemate. There's nothing going on. Bustamante is keeping a much bigger fighter off of him. His technique is allowing him to survive in this position. Look at how Bustamante wiggles out. He's giving himself distance. He's keeping his head away from Erickson's head. He's not taking headbutts. He's not taking blows.
Well, Brazilians, they're not in a rush. They take their time, they're patient, and eventually they will open up the trap door and you fall in.
And we also have to remind everybody about the extended 30-minute time limit due to the nature of this bout, a championship bout, extended to 30 minutes.
Again, recognize, too, you see two superb competitors here. This is not your run-of-the-mill type
Absolutely,
of fight.
I agree with you, Alan. Bustamante trying to kick out. Erickson will not let him.
Yep, you got a blow or two, but not much. And again, back in that open guard position, Bustamante using his feet, keeping Erickson off, maneuvering him.
Both men trying to stay in close contact so neither one can land a clean blow.
Erickson trying to pass the guard. He's trying to get out of that position.
Would Erickson be more comfortable if they were away from the circle area right there and more out in the center of the ring?
Actually, that doesn't make any difference at this point. Notice how Bustamante is controlling Erickson's leg to keep him from moving.
Bustamante's left leg, as Ron says, is tucked inside the right leg of Erickson. His right leg is trapped outside Erickson's left leg. He'll constantly switch, he'll constantly move. He won't stay in one position.
And Erickson once again trying to use that advantage in weight, 280 pounds, on top of Bustamante.
Let's face it, this again is no fun. Bustamante is coiled up. He's got a big man on top of him.
Once again, we'll remind everybody a 30-minute time limit. And again, Erickson stands up.
Now there's a leg trap. Right now, Bustamante has the right leg. Can he get the leg lock? He needs to get distance, push Erickson off. He's trying to crank. He's trying,
and he couldn't get it.
Unable to get it. The man is just too big and strong. They're back in that same position.
And we're talking about a man in Tom Erickson at 280 pounds. And it is proportioned very well about his entire body. A thick chest, big hips, and strong legs.
And he's using his weight effectively, too.
And once again, it has been Erickson who has been on top the entire time.
But watch Bustamante. He's trapping that left arm of Erickson's right now. See his right hand preventing a headbutt. He's actually not even using his left arm right now. But watch that left arm of Erickson. That's the type of position that might allow Bustamante to take advantage of that into some type of arm lock. If he can extend the big man.
And a wicked right hand, that time by Bustamante on Erickson. And he continues to throw.
That left hand keeping him close, not letting him get distance.
10 minutes in the ring seems like a year.
I was just going to bring that up. They have gone 10 minutes, and they have been together the entire 10 minutes. There's been no break for either fighter here. No break from one another.
And Bustamante is fighting an excellent tactical fight. Much lighter.
Again, you see Erickson spread out wide.
You know, we've seen that move used before, that knee to the buttock, used before by wrestlers in this position, finding themselves unable to or unwilling to get out of the position inside the guard.
Once again, it is Erickson on top, Bustamante in the bottom position, and they have been that way ever since about the first 10 seconds as the fight began.
And the longer the Brazilian is on the bottom and the longer the match goes, the advantage goes to the Brazilian because he's in control.
And the weight factor will not become a factor at that time?
I don't believe so. They're used to being in that position.
I agree with Ron. I think it'll become less of a factor. Again, this is not to trivialize what's going on here. These fighters are working very, very hard.
Oh, yes, they are.
Look at that left hand. He's preventing the headbutt. Bustamante on one hand is keeping him close, on the other hand far enough away. Now, again, from our camera angle, I got excited. It looked like he was ready to
I could tell.
Escape from that position.
But it is Erickson who refuses to let him get up. Once again, their heads are pressed right up against the metal netting there. They are right by Bustamante's corner, which is where you hear all the instructions.
We'll translate that Portuguese for you later. Jim will be happy to do that.
I was going to give it over to Ron for that one.
The next event will have subtitles.
There you go.
It takes an unbelievable amount of endurance to maintain performance at this time.
Rod, we're talking about two really tough guys here, aren't we?
Extremely conditioned, well-conditioned athletes.
And speaking with Bustamante, he's been doing this for 22 years. So he's been doing it since he was a child. He's used to this. Not to diminish the punishment he's taking right here and the fact that he's doing so well, so effectively against the big man, but he's been doing it since he was a child. That's the only thing that allows him to be so effective against an Olympic quality competitor.
All right, instructions from the referee to continue to keep working. And you would think now that we've passed the 13-minute mark that there is some fatigue beginning to set in.
And you know, Tom is a three-time Olympic alternate, so you know he's got everything it takes to work and win this match.
And again, sliding back. Erickson trying to turn him up a little bit.
Actually, if you look at Bustamante, he's on his side here. He's on his left side. He's working an angle. Perhaps he can get out. Perhaps he can slide out from here and take the big man's back. He doesn't want to stay on his back if he can help it. So he's starting to angle. He's starting to move. Something Renzo Gracie does so very well.
That time it's the left leg shots. into the buttocks area, and that hurts.
Yes, they will. Bustamante has not changed his position. He's still angled. He's still on his side.
14 minutes left for all the money.
Referee indicating to the wrestlers 14 minutes left for all the money. Ron, when you're in the ring, when you hear something like that, what does that do to you? Does that trigger something?
Well, if you're not tired, it allows you to get the energy, the second wind that you need in order to really function.
When you were grappling,
there he is.
There he is. He's almost out.
Did not get out.
And Erickson refused to let him up.
Back in the open guard.
When did the fatigue set in for you, and how quickly then did you get the second win?
Well, if you're a stand-up fighter, you don't have much wind. It takes a couple of minutes. If Tom wasn't such a well-conditioned athlete, it would have been over by now.
Wow.
We've seen it end for other wrestlers much earlier than this. Dan Severn fighting Royce Gracie. It was over in a matter of minutes.
17 minutes.
Well, a matter of 17 minutes, Ron. I still have a minute left here.
Once again, they have been over in Bustamante's corner the entire time in this bout.
Listen to the power of those shots. And Bustamante is not even acknowledging it at all.
You know, the wrestlers are also learning. I was talking to Tom Erickson. He's been watching tape. He's been watching film. The early fighters in this type of event didn't know what they were up against. Erickson's been watching film. He's been studying. He's been working. He's been working with Mark Coleman. He knows what to try not to do to stay in here and be effective and win.
I'm sure he also realizes one mistake and it can be over quickly, too.
And that's what this is about. It's the chess game in the circle of truth.
Get up, man! Get up!
Referee right on top of the action. And once again, both combatants entangled with each other as they have been ever since this match began. You hear the referee in the ring instructing the grapplers that they have to move. They have to move.
The 30-minute time limit keeps looming, getting closer and closer.
This is for the championship of the elimination tournament.
Come on, guys, let's go.
With an extended time limit to 30 minutes. Bustamante and Erickson.
This points out something else. For years when we talked about martial arts, scholastic or freestyle wrestling was never included amongst them. And what fighters like Schultz and Coleman and now Erickson are showing is that they are very effective as fighters, as well as sports competitors.
12 minutes, draw, the judges.
And the combatants are talking to the referee, asking who's judging. Ron, did you ever do that in the middle of a match?
No.
They were instructed they have, well, close now to 11.5 minutes left to go in the time limit.
This is so exhausting, Jim.
Let's see, distance, and now he's out.
He let him up, and here they go again.
The Brazilian looks pressure. Do you agree, Ron? Erickson looks tired, but oh so good.
For the other to make a mistake.
Ron, do you think they're resting here?
I think they're both tired, but I don't think they're resting. They do not want to make a mistake. At this point in time, if you make a mistake, it is over.
I can tell you this, guys. Great respect right now between these two fighters.
Mind drain, physical drain, spiritual drain, everything. go back to the floor.
It's interesting. Erickson said he's been practicing his jabs and crosses. He wants that.
I think he realizes that if he's going to win, he's going to win in the center standing up.
How interesting, though, that a freestyle wrestler is finding himself more comfortable now standing than supine on the ground. Say that?
Bustamante.
We've just received word that if they're still fighting, the fight will not stop at 30 minutes. It will continue.
Okay, that word just in. The official word. And Erickson decided to go back and then backed off.
Look at this.
I mean, it's apparent that Tom doesn't want to go back to the floor because he knows in that position he will lose eventually.
Standing, he has reach, distance, and power. He has every advantage over Bustamante.
Well, Tom is taking a lot of shots, too.
Bustamante immediately goes down. What's that, Ron?
Tom does not want to go to the floor. And Bustamante doesn't want to get up.
He doesn't want to stay. I was just going to say it's the other way around. Well, this now has turned into a very tactical match.
Extremely so. But again, think about the irony of this. You have a man 285 pounds who doesn't want to go to the ground with a man weighing so much less, weighing 90 pounds less.
85 pounds lighter.
Well, you indicated, Alan, that he has looked at his game tape, so to speak. He has studied, and he realizes, obviously, that that is not his strongest position with this guy.
Both men are fighting an intelligent fight from each of their points of view.
The Brazilians are so good on the floor.
Look at Erickson. Come and box with me.
Well, you know, we're seeing something new tonight here. Reality Superfighting.
Minutes. This is unbelievable.
With what has taken place here, have both men rested sufficiently?
Actually, Bustamante is resting. Tom is trying to figure out what to do, so that's very frustrating.
Tom's looking at his corner.
His corner just said, stay away, you're doing the right thing.
Of course, with your command of Portuguese, you can tell us what the Brazilian
I'm sorry, I'm lost on that one. This
I bet it would be stay on the ground.
Well, he hasn't moved from that position.
Well, these are more the postures we'd expect from a kicker, punch, or a striker on is fighting with someone like Bustamante than a wrestler with this.
Ron, have you ever been involved in a match that has turned like this?
Never in the history of my time in the martial arts. You know, when I fought in this type of event, I wanted to be in a grappling position with the Brazilian stylist. It is apparent that Tom does not want to be in the guard again.
And we have been informed once again that if there is not a declared winner at the end of 30 minutes, the time period will be extended. Will that have an impact on what we're seeing right now?
The longer the time extends, the less chance Tom has of winning. That's my belief. What do you think, Alan?
I would agree with you, Ron. I think the longer the time goes, the more it's in the Brazilians' favor.
Interesting that Erickson circles. Now he decides to go and wrap him up and then get a few hits in and escape.
Tried very hard to take his side. Tried to get that cross-side position on Bustamante. His guard's just too good.
I mean, Tom has used a strategy now. He knows that he cannot contend with the Brazilian on the floor.
And make no mistake, the Brazilians can lie on their back, put their hands behind their head, and use their feet very effectively to keep someone not trained in this style of fighting away and off.
Well, it's painfully obvious what you spoke about, how Erickson indeed has done his homework.
Very much so. Remember, there was a close call earlier. There was an attempted armbar. Bustamante was in position. Only Erickson's strength kept him from keeping it.
Erickson again dives in, gets in a couple of shots, and now Bustamante comes to his feet.
And that's exactly what Tom wanted.
And he tries to attack and does, and immediately Bustamante goes down.
Was he hit down? Is that a right hand that took him down?
Just a quick throw, yeah.
Now this points out what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was developed for. It was developed to allow the smaller man to compete with the bigger man. It wasn't developed to look pretty or to end in 5 minutes or be flashy, but it does allow the smaller man to compete against the bigger opponent.
In Brazil, these fights traditionally go an hour.
And Erickson decides he's going to back off and listen to his corner. And the referee in the ring trying to institute some action and not getting it. And as Ron and Al have been indicated, this is the first time that these two gentlemen have ever seen anything quite like this.
Look how Bustamante kept him up. Took a shot or two, but he kept the big man away. But look, Erickson is trying. These guys are fighting their hearts out.
For the money, guys. Let's make it.
Well, we're nearing that 30-minute mark, and once again, we have been told that the match will continue. It will not stop at the 30-minute mark if there is not a declared winner. And boy, this one has really brought the crowd into it, guys, that's for sure.
Now, the American crowds are not used to seeing this type of fighting that they're seeing now. But hopefully they'll appreciate the tactical nature of this fight. Two superb competitors.
It is only strategy and tactics that can win this event.
Now, in contradistinction to so many other events that we've seen, we really have skilled competitors here at the top of their game.
Again, Erickson in, delivers, and gets away.
Well, I think those blows were good, Ron. Those got in and out.
Hammer fist down to the face, that always works.
In and out. And as a strategy, that looks effective.
And actually, this would be the correct way to fight a Brazilian fighter. Don't go to the floor.
Once again, it is Erickson circling and Bustamante on his back.
Erickson is not our typical competitor, too. I mean, Bustamante respects him tremendously to be lying on his back in this position, refusing to stand up and take him down.
It is extremely hard to take down someone 85 pounds heavier than you are.
Yes.
Especially a freestyle Olympic class athlete.
And we have seen some of his power moves, and quickly he strikes and then gets away again.
So, Ron, you wouldn't recommend I challenge him after this?
No.
Erickson delivers again on Bustamante. Again, it's Erickson circling, Bustamante staying down.
To me, Erickson's heart really shows here. The man does not stop trying to get in.
And I know Tom's legs are going to be sore tomorrow.
Yes, they will from those kicks. And a couple of good shots there.
Looks like that.
I mean, Tom can actually win with this type of strategy.
And it's an interesting strategy. Ron, I can't say I've seen this before.
Nor have I.
You can see the redness around the knees of Erickson and also on his high thighs.
Ron, if you're Oleg Taktarov, were you watching this match and taking notes?
Without a doubt.
Now that would be interesting if that happened right away.
I do not believe that Renzo would ever do anything like this, though.
No, I think Renzo's a much more aggressive fighter, but still, Erickson is pointing out opportunities that we haven't seen in the past with the Brazilian style.
Well, we have been told now that this fight will be an extended for 40 minutes, so there will be 10 minutes more in this fight. If there is not a decision in this fight, that will be the time limit, 40 minutes. So we have a little less than 10 minutes remaining. In fact, the corners now have just been told, and now they are instructing their respective fighters.
And I see Mark Coleman in Tom's corner.
Imploring him to go for it.
And Erickson is taking his time and picking his spots. Erickson continuing to circle. Bustamante staying on the mat. Something that has basically befuddled our experienced announcing team because they have never seen it before.
I've never seen anything like this in the history of reality-based fighting.
Nor have I. Not that I haven't been befuddled before, but I've not seen this before.
All right, we have been also instructed that if indeed this goes to a draw, they will split the loser's purse. There will not be a winner's purse delivered. They will split the loser's purse. And it is Erickson again trying to get in.
Quick left hand.
And Bustamante content to stay down. And deliver a kick here and there.
And again, Erickson's corner telling him to go for it.
8 minutes left in this bout. Erickson still taking his time.
8 minutes to the end. It goes to the judges. 8 minutes.
Now, actually, Tom has taken a lot of time to rest. If he wanted to go to the floor, he'd be perfectly able to now. Yes.
So you think that second wind
I
is back?
expect to see him.
And there's
Back to the
again, he
floor,
dives
eventually.
in. He dives in and then quickly escapes.
Yeah, he tried to follow his corner's advice, Coleman's advice. Again, Bustamante's defense kept him away.
Do your best, guys. 8 minutes left.
Once again, this is a 40-minute time limit, and that's it. It was originally scheduled as a championship bout at 30 minutes. We have passed that. They have given the fighters an extra 10 minutes to see if a decision can be rendered in this bout. If not, it'll be declared a draw, and they will split the loser's purse. And again, Erickson quickly to the attack and then escaping.
It seems at this late stage, neither fighter is willing to take the chance. Nor can they be blamed. They seem to have each hit on something that's working for them.
In other words, if this did not have a definitive time limit, we could be here for a long time.
We could be here forever.
And we still have the big fight to go.
Has anybody called for takeout?
Could we see Erickson give in and go to the mat with, say, maybe 3 minutes left?
I believe that eventually Tom will go to the floor.
This is for all the money, guys.
Once again, Erickson quickly in and then out.
You know, it's not that easy. Erickson's trying to get to the Brazilian side. But watch how the Brazilian is able to pivot and turn his hips. He's not letting him get to his side to get in and throw those blows. He's trying.
Well, we talked about the 3-minute mark. We just hit the 5-minute mark right now. Erickson once again stepping back, reassessing the situation. Not rushing, trying to pick a spot. Bustamante content to stay with the kicks. There's Erickson in and out. Once again, this is the championship of the elimination tournament. Bustamante and Erickson.
It's really the fight we've been waiting for.
These athletes should be commended. They're doing a brilliant job of strategy and tactics.
The last thing I'd like to see is someone condemn these fighters for a lack of action. What they've done is put on a tremendous performance for us.
And Erickson finally down and attacking.
Raining blows. All that weight now is being used to his advantage.
And he's trying to lock him up right now. But I believe the Brazilian has the arm in there.
Absolutely. And he's back in the guard.
Back to the guard.
Bustamante has taken punishment.
Well, we've seen this position before, guys.
We're no longer befuddled.
No, we're not. We passed that stage, too. Well, we talked about Erickson maybe trying to go after him and hit the mat again at about the 3-minute mark. He went after him at the 4-minute mark.
And the Brazilian can't be expected to trade blows with a man that's much bigger. He's fighting the only fight he can fight.
Once again, the referee indicating that he'd like to see a little more action. But you are looking at two tired athletes right now.
And in 3 minutes, who knows what's going to happen.
Once again, we'll remind you that it has been decreed that they will split the loser's purse. Not the winner's share, but the loser's purse. And Bustamante peering up at the big guy, Erickson. Chance of USA raining down upon the circle of truth. As we head to the 2-minute mark left in this bout. And there it is.
Carlson Gracie himself checking his watch, shouting instructions.
Again, Erickson looking for an avenue to attack. And then again backs off. Once again, Rod, even in a short time frame that we have left, one single mistake, though, could be the undoing.
And that's how this goes, too.
So down to a minute and a half.
Again, the kicks delivered by Bustamante.
Look at the bruises on Tom's legs.
I was just going to say the welts have appeared all over, as a matter of fact. Again, he looks for an opportunity and tries to get in and then escapes again.
He's trying to get to the Brazilian side. He won't let him take that side position.
Well, we're inside of a minute left. Inside of a minute. Erickson, Bustamante, the championship match of the elimination tournament.
Bustamante is fighting the only fight that he could fight at this time.
If he stood up, he would be at Erickson's mercy.
Absolutely.
Erickson quickly attacking.
In and out, and it's worked for him. But let's not minimize that weight differential. This man has stayed in for 40 minutes. weighing almost 100 pounds less.
Inside of 10 seconds. Now it's 5 seconds remaining in the match, and this one is going to end without a winner. And that's it. Erickson, Bustamante go 40 minutes in the ring.
Neither one clearly happy with the outcome.
And they will both share the loser's purse.
Once again, medical treatment being immediately delivered to Bustamante. Erickson doesn't seem to be as bad off as Bustamante is at this particular time. All right, here will be the Bustamante escape as they continue to attend to Bustamante in the ring. And there is some confusion right now. I think just the different crews for the respective fighters have tried to, I think they have just discovered exactly what has happened. And it will be declared a draw. And right now, let's go up to the ring. And here's Chuck Hall.
Due to the running out of the time limit of 40 minutes, this bout has been declared a draw.
Not a happy decision, but from either camp, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you, that's quite a shiner that Bustamante is working on right there on the right side. He took some blows.
All right, we saw this early with Erickson on top for about 10 minutes, and then came the escape.
Working the open guard position. Actually, Erickson backed off. Erickson got tired of being in that guard, unable to do anything, and he just gave him the distance.
And then again, this is what we saw through much of the remaining fight. Bustamante down, Erickson up, and then Erickson attempting to attack and then running away.
This was that new tactic we were talking about that seemed to be working effectively for him as the fight progressed.
Once again, you see Erickson on the attack and delivering and then escaping from Bustamante's kicks. And the mitts ends in a draw. All right, right now, let's go to Julie, who has Tom Erickson. Julie?
Tom, this is your first no-holds-barred event. Tell me how you feel about the draw.
Oh, a little disappointed, you know. I mean, it's kind of awkward having a guy lay on his back and not want to fight. I mean, I understand that's his great position, and you know the jiu-jitsu likes that position. But when a guy, you know, when you're hearing a show like this for, you know, the money that these guys are paying us, we need to go for it. Stand on our feet, take your chances, and let's go. Don't lay on the ground. I don't think, you know, that's what the people here paid to see, or the people out in the pay-per-view land paid to see. You know, it's disappointing. I'm excited, you know, to get in here and fight a guy of a Brazilian caliber, but you know, a little disappointing. But, you know, hey, I'll be back. This is great. You know, I like this stuff.
Now, you talked to me in the beginning about endurance and how important conditioning was. You had a very long match, your first match. This match went 40 minutes. What kind of role did that play?
Yeah, that first guy I fought, man, that Russian was tough. I mean, you know, you looked at him get up, and he, I couldn't believe he took that much punishment. But, you know, hey, these people are tough. You know, they don't get into this business if they're not tough. So, hey, you know, I thought I took some shots, too. I got a few lumps in the back of my head, too. But, hey, that's what the sport's all about. You know, that's what the people pay to see.
Well, very impressive match. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Craig?
Appreciate it. Can I say hi to all my softball buddies, my family, Randy, Bodie, everybody out there, my family. Hey, I love you guys, and I'll be home tomorrow.
They certainly deserve to say hi. Craig?
Thank you, Julie. A very impressive evening, certainly, for Tom Erickson. And as Julie alluded to, this was his debut in no-holds-barred action. Former NCAA champion and All-American at Oklahoma State. I thought he really won the bout there. He took the match really to Bustamante. Give Bustamante credit, giving him a lot of weight, and did what he had to do to hang in there. But Erickson certainly the aggressor. However, this is not boxing, and you don't have the three judges scoring the bout. And as a result, Erickson winds up with a draw, but certainly leaves like a champion. Bustamante has to feel pretty good, too. Going 40 minutes tonight in his third fight in a pretty exciting finish to the elimination tournament. Well, the main event is still coming up, but first of all, we're going to take a look at some of the beauties after the beasts in the ring, the ring girls. Let's go to that.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen some outstanding martial arts and some athletic ability this evening. But to help that along and make this an enjoyable evening, I'd like to have you meet and greet our ring girls of the night. First of all, here is the lovely Deborah and the enchanting Donna, the very vivacious Patricia, the adorable Angie, and the delightful Kim. All of these young ladies adding to our entertainment this evening. Let's give them a big round of applause as they circle the ring.
Well, we thank the very cute Chuck Hall for the introduction of the ring ladies tonight. It's been a very exciting night, certainly here at the State Fair Arena. And now, if you didn't think we got down to business already, we certainly will right now. Talked a lot about the main event tonight. Should be an interesting battle of we saw different styles in the Elimination Tournament Championship. How about this one? You've got Oleg Taktarov, the Russian Sambo expert, never has submitted, against the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu three-time champion in Renzo Gracie. So this should be some outstanding kind of different style. Again, it's Brazil and Russia in the reality super fights. Now, before tonight's matches, we talk with both of the combatants. Here's what they have to say about the main event.
Renzo, your family's name has been synonymous with quality in martial arts for a long time. What was it like growing up in such a legendary household?
Oh, it was amazing. We had a lot of people, like a lot of brothers, and was always fighting to see who was going to sit on the head of the table. But my brothers always loved me, so they always let me stay there, even if they could beat me.
That's funny. Now, for 75 years, there's been a no-holds-barred fighting in Brazil. Do you think that gives you an edge of any sort?
Yeah, I think so, because like most of the people who are watching today, we have been seeing this since the early times. So we try to improve and make what really works to put in there, not only the fancy stuff.
I can tell by looking at you that you're an athlete. Did you ever compete in any other sports, or was it always martial arts for you?
I tried soccer, because everybody in Brazil plays soccer, but I was terrible. So I tried surfing. I went pretty good. I got a professional surfer. But I give up, because my passion is on and keep going the work that my family have been done for the last 75 years.
Now, you're considered one of the lighter fighters. Is that a disadvantage of any sort?
No, they say that the best poison comes in small package, so I hope that's true.
You have a really good sense of humor, and I think most people would expect differently from a fighter. Is that important to you in terms of keeping a balance?
Yeah, it's like I don't try to be what I'm not. I'm like that all the time, and I believe like the sense of humor is a superior way of intelligence. I'm not just a bruiser, I'm a thinker too, you know. I try to read a lot, I try to get as much information as I can from the world.
Well, that's interesting, because I would assume that most people would assume differently of fighters, and that's enlightening. Now, both you and Taktarov have not submitted.
Yeah.
What kind of pressure does that put on you?
None. I don't have no pressure. I don't have no obligations with nothing. I'm going to do my best. Now, sometimes they say that the loser say they will do his best. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner, and I'm going to do my best.
Why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Why is that a superior method of fighting?
The Japanese forbid to teach the Occidental people this kind of art. And what happened was they end up forgetting that too. My grandfather kept that tradition, and we improved on that. And we had the chance to really put it in a fight to see how it works. That's why it becomes so developed and so good.
So you just threw out what didn't work?
Yes.
And added what did?
Yes.
Seems effective.
So if you want to show me some move that works, I will be able to learn and use it.
Okay.
Now, what do you do when you're not fighting?
Oh, normally I'm with my kids, with my wife. I like to read a lot. Every day I make myself to read 2 hours a day, every day. And sometimes like working out. But basically I'm with my family reading. Or teaching the American people the noble art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, look, I have to ask you, what was it like growing up in Siberia?
Nothing special, same like in Montana or Wyoming. It's the same, it's not that cold like people think. It's real nice, clean air, you don't have to smell those cars and stuff.
What was your experience like in the military?
It was pretty much fun. Right now, I mean, when you think about it, it seems like fun, but you know, I had some pretty much dangerous situations.
What inspired you to study the martial arts?
Okay, first of all, I start from judo. I was 11 or 12 years old. I don't really remember, maybe 10. I just remember my father took me in a judo school. It was like a judo sambo school. In Russia, we did both. And I've been there till I was 17. After that, it was time to go to military.
Tell us about combat sambo. What makes it a superior fighting style?
I don't think it's something special. Combat sambo, you just took the best, most effective moves. Of course, if I'm going to start doing something like with my fingers, it doesn't work. I mean, what a big deal. I mean, I have a broken finger. Okay, I can go. You know, so that's why for combat sambo, they choose moves what really work in extreme situations.
Now, you mentioned a couple times that you are interested in pursuing acting. Can you tell us a little bit about your career and who it is that you idolize?
I've done 3 movies so far. Total Force 1, or Total Force 2, where I'm star, like major star.
Very nice.
And I said like I play kind of myself. And also I've done a movie with Harrison Ford. It's Air Force 1. It's the biggest project of the year, and I'm really proud of that because I've been chosen by my acting, not because I'm a fighter. It was 400 people who tried to get my part. And I got it. I mean, Wolfgang Peterson, he's a pretty big director, and he chose me personally, and I mean, I'm really proud of this.
Thank you, Julie. Congenial off camera, but certainly ultimate warriors, and now the test comes in the circle of truth, Taktarov and Gracie. Jim?
All right, Craig, thanks very much. It's been an electric scene here this evening, and now it's the moment that everyone has been waiting for. This is it, everybody. Gracie Taktarov in the circle of truth. Let's go up to the ring, and here is Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Introducing at this time a young man who has been the heavyweight full contact jiu-jitsu world champion 4 different times. He has been the Sambo champion of Russia 2 times, and he is the UFC VI champion. Weighing in at 205 pounds, standing at 6 feet even. Introducing the Russian Bear, Oleg Taktarov. And his opponent, a young man who is a 3rd degree in black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is a 1993 and 94 Open Division champion, and he is also the 1995 World Combat Champion. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, at 5 feet 11, 180 pounds, introducing Renzo Gracie.
All right, gentlemen, set us up quickly. What are we going to see right off the bat, Ron?
Well, we are going to see the Russian Bear go to work. He can punch, he can kick, and he can grapple.
Let's do it!
Ellen?
I think Renzo's going to get inside and attempt to take him down immediately.
Gracie sporting a protective brace on the right knee. Would that be something that, Taktarov with the brace, would that be something they might, Gracie might go after right away?
Without a doubt.
There he goes.
He shoots for the leg.
Taktarov sprawled, a counter to a double leg or single leg.
Maybe a little bit of a feeling out process between the two.
Absolutely. Now, Renzo at his New York Academy will bring in boxers and other types of martial artists to train with, to be comfortable with this, even though it's not his primary style.
Again, he shoots, and Taktarov counters. The kick, and Taktarov has the leg. And Gracie delivers the kick, and he's on the floor.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Gracie with the swift kick, and then the right hand.
What an ending. Who could have predicted that? No one.
What a great fight.
Spectacular.
Well, there was a short feeling out process, and then Gracie got tired, I guess, of feeling out.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu made history today.
And quickly, Taktarov is being attended to in the ring by the ring doctors. Renzo Gracie delivered when he had to.
Who said they can't punch or kick?
Wow.
Just shows another dimension.
Interestingly enough, too, it was an aggressive attack by Taktarov that got him into trouble.
Perhaps Tom Erickson wasn't so foolish after all not to come in.
Oh, they did not stop the bout. Or did they? Gracie celebrating, believing it was over. Taktarov refused to shake hands. This one should be over. Taktarov obviously does not believe that it is over. And Gracie sends him goodbye. Taktarov refusing.
How can Taktarov dispute this? The man was out.
He was out cold, yes. And Taktarov giving the instructions by the referee.
I can tell you what, looking at Renzo now, I think he'd like that fight to continue.
Well, he gets out unscathed and he collects the winner's check. It's a big payday for Renzo.
But I don't think Taktarov's behavior is endearing him.
No, it is not.
This time.
It is not admirable. And And they are waiting to raise his hand. Let's go to the ring. Here's Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has stopped the contest. The winner is Enzo Gracie.
A lightning quick delivery by Gracie to end it in a hurry.
And didn't they show us another dimension?
Brazilian fighters can punch and kick.
All right. They began as a standoff, a feeling out process, and then all of a sudden Gracie ended it quickly, and here it is. He's out on his feet right there, Ron.
One kick from the floor.
And then quickly attacks and nails him.
How could you not stop that fight?
And immediately it is stopped. And Taktarov continues to plead his case in the center of the ring to the referee, but it is to no avail. This one is over. What a shot. And then the right hand to close it off.
Great kick-punch combination from Gracie.
You know, to see Taktarov complain now, the referee stopped him from sustaining what could have been severe damage. He had no way to defend himself. Renzo was right on top of him.
Now, I believe with you 100% that the referee did indeed do the right thing by stepping in at that time. Ron, you have seen fights end quickly, but have you ever seen them maybe end so suddenly that one just caught everybody by surprise?
Actually, this is a surprise to me.
Actually, we've seen two finishing tonight that were completely out of the ordinary,
There's
both spectacular.
Juan Mott earlier.
Juan Mott's knee, that right knee to the chin, and now Renzo's finishing of Taktarov.
All right, let's go up to the ring. Here is Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of the participants in this excellent martial arts show this evening, the members who participated, those who have put this show together, we thank you for your attendance. Certainly hope to see you again in this arena in the very near future. In the meantime, on your way home.
All right, Chuck Hall, of course, thanking everybody in attendance for coming tonight, and the crowd definitely got their money's worth as Renzo Gracie delivered the knockout punch on Ole Taktarov. This was a bout which I think most people, including our astute analysts here, felt was going to go a little longer than what it did. It did not. Gracie made quick work. Let's go to Julie right now with Renzo. Julie?
I'm here with Renzo. Renzo, kick to the face. People are going to ask for a rematch. What do you think?
The people who said I was lucky, but as more I train, as lucky as I got. So they can say whatever they want. I fight anywhere, anyone.
What does this victory mean to you?
It's another victory to my clan and also to all the people who support me and who believe me, especially my American students who all the time keep pushing me forward.
What is next for Renzo Gracie?
Sorry?
What's next for Renzo Gracie?
Just keep fighting and keep teaching my art. That's my goal.
Congratulations. Craig?
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Renzo Gracie right there with Julie. And once again, gentlemen, your final thoughts as we take a look at the end. Rod?
Well, Taktarov came in, hands down, and the kick hit him in the face. Front kick right from the floor. With the heel right on the side of his face.
And then he immediately attacks, Alan.
Right hook to the face.
Right on top. That same position we've seen so often
He's
tonight.
unconscious now. He just doesn't realize it.
Immediately Renzo's up. Knee to the stomach. He's right in position now to deliver finishing blows.
Yeah,
that right hand, right.
And his arms are down at his side. He is absolutely defenseless.
Completely.
So, in your astute opinion, then, the referee did indeed do the right thing by stepping in at that time.
Exactly.
I don't think there's any question about it.
Well, gentlemen, we have had a sensational evening in the Circle of Truth.
It has been the Circle of Truth.
And it has been a sensational evening.
I have enjoyed it immensely.
The
Thank
moment
you.
of truth in the Circle of Truth.
Very well stated, Rod. We are going to toss it over to Craig. Thank you very much for tuning in to Reality Super Fighting in the Circle of Truth. It's all yours, Craig.
Thank you, Jim. Oleg Taktarov, a little short on sportsmanship, is still in the ring. Certainly you got to admire his guile, and I would think he'll be asking for a rematch. But tonight he was not the better man. The better man was Renzo Gracie. He kicked off with both feet, and then he landed the right leg. followed by the right hand, and that was it. He wins the main event. It was quite an evening. Tom Erickson, we saw the big All-American from Oklahoma State go 3 fights. Very impressive over Russian Kramchovsky early on, and then he went 40 minutes with another impressive Brazilian. And the man of Bustamante, that one would end up in a draw, but it was a very exciting. We saw the knee knockout by Juan Mott tonight. It was a very exciting night, and we hope you enjoyed it here at the State Fair. For Jim, for Ron, for Alan, for Julie, for the entire crew here from the Alabama State Fair Arena, I'm Craig Minervini. We will see you next time on the Reality Super Fights. Hope you enjoyed it. So long, everybody.